Welcome to the Into the Wilderness podcast. You'll notice behind us that we have slightly different surroundings, and if you were at the British Shooting Show, you would have seen these at the Fortis and the Vortex stand. And that,
I just realised, for those people who are, which is the vast majority of you listening on iTunes, you will have no idea what we're pointing at right now.
That's very
This is for the benefit of the YouTube watchers,
which we've just started videoing for YouTube.
Yeah. So if there's anything in any of the last two podcasts and anything going forward that you would like to see or guests you would like to see, then head over to the YouTube channel, which is Podcast Into the Wilderness.
But as 99.9 of you listen on iTunes, it doesn't really matter.
No. But this week is very different to what we normally do, and we won't be making a habit of this. It was just that we were down at the British Shooting Show last weekend, and it seemed a shame to be there and interact with so many people and not bring our podcast listeners any of it. So if you are a listener who is not really into the hunting scene, fear not. We will return to serious debate from now on in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time, yeah.
But there are a huge number of you who are into are hunters and are into the hunting / countryside scene in particular. Then you will find a lot of this interesting. But there is a really important part of this podcast, actually, which, if you're involved in the countryside at all, you need to listen to, and that is
Lyme disease.
Yes, which is near the start of the podcast. So hang fire for that, even if you're not into the technicals of new products.
I would highly recommend trying to find, or we'll put it in the description, the time of Lyme disease.
Yeah, let's do that.
But I would highly recommend listening to it because they need your help.
Yes, they do.
On Lyme disease. It's something that we are actually probably in the short future going to dedicate probably a podcast to.
Yeah, we're going to try and get the professor
because
who was
it's such a major thing, and if you listen to this interview, you'll understand it's on the rise, and we need to
do something about it. And this study that is being talked about is basically there to try and find cures for it and prevention for it. So yeah, hang on and listen to that. If you don't want to listen to everything to get to it, we're going to put the timestamp in the description.
But on this week's show, me and Byron, we tried our hardest. We tried our hardest. So for the YouTube guys, we took pictures. We couldn't video the whole thing because of the complications of trying to record the podcast.
And we don't have a dedicated cameraman.
We don't. We film everything ourselves. So we've taken some beautiful pictures for you to look at on YouTube, and all our iTunes listeners, which is most of you, if there's something in particular that you go, I really want to know what that looks like, head over to iTunes, and then
head over to YouTube.
Head over to YouTube, and then you can see what it actually is. So all the pictures were taken up by us, pretty much. Either that, or we nicked them off the Facebook page of the particular person we were talking to at the time, which I think was like 2 of them, because we managed to get pictures of everyone.
But there's a very large variety. Everything from scopes to outfitters and Lyme disease.
We try to talk to as many people as possible. Now, what have we got coming up in the next few weeks, Byron? We've got some really interesting stuff and really good debate that you need to get involved in. What is it?
That is the debate regarding the reintroduction of lynx to Scotland. Now, if you follow the SACS Facebook page, which of course is the Scottish Association for Country Sports, who are our sponsor, you might have already seen that they have gone out and asked all of their members and anybody else, basically to give them feedback, and it is open to anybody. Visit their Facebook page, find the picture with the links, leave a comment there.
It's also on our Facebook page as well, the podcast Facebook page. So get on there.
Loads of people have got involved so far, which is really great. And if you don't do the social media thing, fear not. You can either email us at
podcast@paceproductionsuk.com.
Or if you can't remember that, you can go on to the SACS website and use their email address, because they have also had quite a few emails from members, and they are passing them on to us, and we will take those questions, and they will be part of the Links podcast. And one of the really great things about this podcast is that it's going to be used as part of the consultation process.
It is. So if you have a real genuine concern, or you have something you need to ask, then it's your chance to get involved. There's no point moaning about it in 2 years' time when something's not gone the way you like it and you didn't get involved. This is the time to actually ask a question. So
Your country needs you.
Yep, it's time. It's time.
It is time.
But we've got Michaela coming up in 2 weeks, which
Yeah.
I'm actually very excited about this podcast. We did say it was going to come this week.
Yeah,
but
so sorry those people who were expecting her after Josh James.
Sorry, but no, we had to move things. And like all things in life, you've got to adapt, don't you, Vine?
Adapt and overcome.
Yeah, we do.
But she's going to be here in 2 weeks' time, and it's a really good podcast, so...
It is. It's a really exciting... I'm really excited to get it out for everyone to listen to, actually.
Yeah, and all her massive fan base as well.
Massive fan base, yeah. Now, Byron, it's been a very good month for us. It's been our biggest month for listeners.
It has been, by quite a considerable margin, and every month we seem to do the same. We get more listeners and more downloads every month than we had the month before, and that is down to the people listening, so thank you very much. And it really helps, when you send us comments, so we know what we're doing right.
We've had so many nice comments. Honestly, it's been amazing the amount of people that have messaged us and at the British Shooting Show come over who we've never met before and say that they listen to the show, because this is why we do this show. We do this not for us, we do it for everyone else.
Everyone listening.
Yeah, everyone listening. And if you didn't listen, then we wouldn't be doing this.
No, we'd
just be talking.
Two mad brothers talking to each other in microphones.
With microphones, yeah.
But we actually had a couple of people leaving us reviews and 5-star recommendations
on iTunes, which I've been asking everyone to do over the last few weeks.
And it really helps.
And I'm going to continue to ask this, so it's not going away. Basically, if you go on iTunes, leave us a review. It really helps people find our show, and also it helps us go on rankings and so on. And we've got a few names of people that have left us really nice comments in the last few weeks. Byron, on you go.
We've got Bill Odd, Gary86, and Dunstan79. I've no idea if they're actually even close to the people's real names, but that is how they left their comments. So thank you to those people, whoever those are in reference to.
Oh, I forgot to say. Listen to the show. There's some giveaways.
Oh, yes, there is.
And I'm not going to tell you where they are. You're going to have to listen to the show. And we didn't even know about them when we were making it.
No, we were just very lucky that there's two separate giveaways.
Yep.
And we were busy doing the interviews, and these two people very kindly said that for the people who listen to this podcast,
they can get
special deals.
Yeah.
So you got to listen all the way through to find out what they are, because it might be just what you need.
I know. And in future podcasts, we will be letting you know at the beginning.
We will. But I'll tell you, I will say this. If you're an Irish listener in particular, there is one giveaway which you definitely have to listen to.
You don't have to be exclusively from Ireland.
No, I'm not, but I'm just saying it'll be of particular interest
to them. More benefit to them because it'll be more local.
You'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out. You got to listen. But thank you very much for listening. I'm going to do my usual spiel. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher. If you subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher, you get it a day early. And then also subscribe on our new YouTube channel, which has only got our podcast stuff on it. We're separating it from our series, which is above us here. You can see our new series, which is going to be out very, very soon. So keep an eye out on that. And SoundCloud, thank you to the SoundCloud listeners, which remarkably there is people listening.
A lot of people on SoundCloud.
Yeah, so thank you to all the SoundCloud listeners.
This podcast, as with all of them, is brought to you by the Scottish Association of Country Sports. If you want to find out any information, visit their Facebook page. That's where you will get the most up-to-date info and everything that they're working on. And if you have any questions or queries about membership, then ping them an email or give them a call.
And if you're on YouTube, this is the logo behind right here. Scottish Association for Country Sports. There we go.
Enjoy the show. So we finally got to the stand where we've got Schultz and Larson. We've got Alan Rowan here, who's bringing them in. Alan, tell me a little bit about the rifle. I mean, it's a beautiful looking rifle. Tell me a little bit about it, where it comes from, and how you ended up bringing them in, and why.
Okay, very simple. Company was established in 1889. They've been making rifles a long time. They've a switch barrel rifle, all of the models, classic, Victory, everything else. I was invited over to the factory to have a look. I was quite blown away by the quality. And so we started bringing them in, only last June. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, the response here is amazing.
You've had a lot of, I mean, every time I walk past, I've been struggling to speak to you the last couple of days because you've had people speaking to you about the rifles. So you've had a good uptake already and a lot of good response from the show?
A lot of response. And I wouldn't like to say how many rifles will be sold as a result of the show. I really wouldn't. It's I can't even keep count of the numbers.
For those people who haven't seen it, just talk me through the action and how it works and how the switch barrel works.
The Victory and the Classic action, two different actions, two different bolts, but they take the same barrel. They both have 3-lug locking, so it's a low lift, 60-degree lift. The actions will take Magnum and standard calibers. So for all the standard calibers, you use the same bolt. For a Magnum caliber, you just change it onto the same action, but you also need a Magnum bolt. But apart from that, that's all it is. Safety is 3 position. First position, of course, is everything locked, including the firing pin. The fire position is, as you expect. The middle position releases a bolt, so you can open it safely to unload.
The one thing I was very impressed by when I spoke to you originally, when I was actually reviewing the rifle, was the manufacture of the barrel and the care that goes into that. Just talk me through that process.
Well, you know the different methods of manufacturing. Hammer forging is probably the most common today. Then you've got button rifling and broach rifling, which are very similar, but again the rifling is cut in one go. Cut rifling, and Schultz and Larsen are probably the only commercial manufacturer in the world still using it. On that you have a single cutter, it travels down the bore, it removes literally dust. You can't actually measure what one cut is, not with easily anyway. The barrel rotates, it does the same on the next land, same on the next land, and it continues that process until you get to full depth. The groove, I should say. And the big point on that is it takes an hour and a half to 2 hours to rifle one barrel, but it doesn't even get warm. So there is no stress in the material, it doesn't suffer from heat-induced torque. So the barrels, when they warm up, they don't move point of impact at all. You know, you take any light hunting rifle, you'll fire your first 3 shots, it'll be a clover leaf, 1 hole or whatever. The 4th shot will probably move off 1/2 inch, 3/4, the 5th shot a bit further, it needs to cool down. The heat-induced torque is bending the barrel. And that's normal, we all accept that. A Schultz and Larsen, and I know one of my dealers, in fact 2 of my dealers have tried it, you can fire 20-30 shots as fast as you can load, point of impact doesn't move at all.
And they're hand lapping their barrels as well, which is quite unusual.
Yes. Yeah. When every barrel's finished, it's lapped with a tin lap, and they leave a slight constriction in the bore, which helps reduce fouling. They call it micro rifling, actually, but the hand lapping puts very, very tiny grooves. You can't see them without a very big microscope, but again, it helps prevent the buildup of copper. And an interesting thing that I've only just learned from
are you about to talk about cleaning?
Yeah,
that was my next question to you, actually.
Manufacturer says no running in whatsoever. It doesn't need it. He said, I've done it for you, so just take it out and hunt with it. His recommendation is don't put any solvents in it, because solvents will attack the surface of the steel. Just wipe it through, take out the fouling. After 300 shots or so, if you do see a build-up of copper, then just clean that either with a Fozzie bronze brush, or we recommend the VFG felt cleaning system, which is it's got a phosphorus particles in the felt. We particularly like that because the felts go right into the bottom of the grooves. So it's very, very much more effective with a single pass than a brush would be. We've done it ourselves. You clean it with traditional way and you look and there's still traces of copper. You put a VFG felt through a couple of times and it's gone, completely clean. So that fits nicely with the rifle, actually. It's a good way to clean them.
I'll have to have a speak to you about having a look at that at some point.
Well, I think I've got some somewhere if you could take some and try.
That'd be perfect. Alan, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye now.
I'm trapped at that.
Yeah, cool. So, morning. We're over at the Viking Arm stand and we're going to be having a look at one of the latest Meopters.
Good morning. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about our new 8x56 rifle scope. So what we have is a latest addition to our Meostar R2 line. For Meopta, the Meostar R2 is our premium super zoom scope, 6x zoom. For us, what we put in comparison to the Swarovski Z6, Leica Magnus, V8 from Zeiss, all these super zoom scopes. The reason for an 856, we wanted to fill kind of a traditional demand from the UK market. 8's always been a popular model in the UK for quite a long time for deer stalking. Right now we see there aren't that many models being offered on the market, so we feel with the R2, in terms of being premium optic for low light transmission, with the 856, we can fill the demand of the market. So
it's a pretty bold move because a lot of big brands have come away from those fixed scopes. So yeah, it's quite refreshing to see somebody taking back what has kind of been removed from a lot of product lists.
Exactly. What you find is that for most hunters, they want things simple. They want to pick it up, use it, it shoots straight, they can see clearly. With an 856 rifle scope, you have this. There's the simplicity of fixed power, but it's going to give you the best overall low light transmission. Technically, with an 8 times magnification and 56 millimeter objective, that gives you a 7 millimeter exit pupil. The main benefit of this is that at nighttime, a normal person's pupil will dilate to 7 millimeters. So you have the correct amount of light for how big your eye is going to be dilated at nighttime. So it's the most light you can have. And as I said, it's simple. You don't need to. Most times, guys with variable scopes, you set it on 6, 7, or 8, and you don't change it. So we give you the best optical performance with this 856. And as I said, it's been a big demanded product in the UK for many years, and we wanted to fill this niche.
And what kind of price is that going to retail at?
Yeah, as this is coming from our top-end Meostar R2 line, it's going to be probably in British pounds about £1,100.
Okay.
Yeah. But with all of our other top-end products, once the customer registers, they extend the warranty to 30 years, including electronics.
All right, okay, that's brilliant. And reticle choice for the scope?
Yeah. As I mentioned, it is a low-light dedicated scope, so we give a choice of illuminated reticles, either an illuminated red dot or the choice of a red cross.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks. Take care, guys.
So we're just wandering over to the UK Game Fair stand, where hopefully we should find Peter Carr, who is involved in it, and have a chat to him about what's going to be happening this year, because a lot has changed with game fairs going into 2016. So let me see if he's still stuffing his face with pies. And
yes, he
drinking
is.
alcohol. He is. Pete, you're live recording. Mr. Carr?
How are we doing?
Yeah, very good.
Good to see you, Byron.
Are you behaving yourself today?
As always, yes.
Whenever I come past here, you're drinking pies and drinking pies, eating pies, and drinking port.
And chatting to girls, of course.
Now, on a serious note, we come to speak to you about last year CLA Game Fair disbanded.
Yeah.
Going into 2016, it's a totally different ball game, and you've got the UK Game Fair. Can you tell me a bit about it? What's going to be there? Why is it going to be better? And sort of, why you've decided to do it, because it's a really big undertaking.
Yeah, well, Blaze Publishing, obviously the shooting division of Blaze Publishing, is well known in the shooting market with the shooting magazines that we have. And also the music division, we run a lot of music shows at Olympia, etc. So we're used to putting on events. What I can say is the UK Game Fair is the only replacement to the CLA. We're on that weekend that the CLA would have been there. It's unfortunate to see the demise of the CLA, but this is the replacement, and it's getting back to the grassroots game fairs. It's going to be all about hunting, shooting, and fishing. There's going to be none of this lifestyle crap involved with it, and all this, Lamborghinis and spa baths and all, sweet shops and all that. It's going to be hunting, shooting, and fishing. This will be a traditional game fair, back to grassroots.
Yeah, so the proper hardcore of the countryside.
Absolutely, yeah. Anybody that's interested in country sports needs to get to this game fair, because that's what it's all about, and it's going back to the grassroots, as I've said.
And you've already got some really big names signed up. Give me a couple that we know are definitely going to be there.
Yeah, well, Viking Arms have just signed up, big name in the gun trade. And of course, we've got Basques supporting us now, and the Countryside Alliance, and of course the Gamekeepers Welfare Trust, which is, it's one of those organisations that's always there, but it's doing a good job, and it's one of the first ones to say, look, we want to support you, so it's all fantastic.
I think actually the sponsor of this podcast, Scottish Association for Country Sports, have signed up to the UK Game Fair as well, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all good news. We're snowballing now. We're in the lead there. This 2-horse race. Well, it's not really a 2-horse race. It's a thoroughbred and a donkey is an also ran.
So for the people that don't know, what's the date and where is it?
Can you remember?
Of course I can. Yeah, I'm only 4 wines in, Barry. It's 22, 23, 24 July, which is the traditional game fair weekend, and it's at Stoneleigh. We're actually going to be in the park there at Stoneleigh. It's not in the business park. It's actually in the park.
So where we are today, but outside.
Exactly where we are today, but outside. We're at the British Shooting Show, which is in the business park. Where all the infrastructure's there. It's a great event. It's a great event venue because of the traffic situation. We've got 3 entrances. It's the Stoneleigh Abbey is next door, which is a great backdrop. We've got part of that's been pulled into the game fair. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's very exciting, and it's good to be involved.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I want to speak to you about this a little bit next, but you're an editor of a big hunting magazine, and this is sort of a sideways step into a new thing for you. I mean, how are you enjoying it?
Yeah, well, I enjoy anything that's to do with hunting, shooting, and fishing. But as I've said earlier, really with Blaze Publishing, we've got all the different shooting magazines. I'm editor of Sporting Rifle and I Shoot, which is just 2 of the magazines, and of course I direct the shooting show as well and present the shooting show. But,
I think people were waiting for you to say that.
Welcome to the shooting show.
There we go.
Excellent. We've had so many requests for that already.
Yeah, no, it's been great to be here at the British Shooting Show and meet all the viewers and the readers. It's fantastic. But let's not forget, Blaze Publishing is used to running big events because of the music division. We run the music shows at Olympia, so
they're huge, aren't they?
Yeah, huge. And it fits. What we're doing here, it's we've got a great portfolio on the game shooting, stalking, hunting, shooting, and fishing. So I mean, it's just an extension of what we do. So be there. Want to see everybody there. It's going to be the big event.
No, that's great. I'm really looking forward to it. I just hope that I have time to make it, but no, I think it'll be excellent.
Byron, be there or be square.
No, cheers, Pete. Really appreciate that. Thanks very much for your time.
See you guys.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Cheers, Byron. Cheers, Darryl.
Cheers.
So we've just come over to the Scott Country stand, which I'm sure most people who are into the shooting world, especially if you're into shooting at night, will know is one of the big names in provision of all kinds of night vision gear.
And their stand's been incredibly busy. I think what they were saying earlier, they've almost sold out.
Yeah, I mean, they've every time I walk past, they've been packed.
Yeah.
Paul is around somewhere. He's disappeared trying to find a new product. But Paul,
Hi, Brian.
now tell us what is this? This is latest gizmo. Tell me a little bit about it.
It's a brand new thermal imager from Guide. It's called the IR517, and it differentiates from a lot of thermal imagers because it's interchangeable lenses, a bit like an SLR camera does.
Oh, very
and it
cool.
also has a 640 by 480 sensor. So with a detection range of 1,500 metres, it has an identification range of where you'll actually identify something 700 to 800 metres, which is unheard of in this trade. So different lenses, different sizes, so you can have a wide field of view for scanning a field, or you can have a large lens like you would have in an SLR telephoto lens for seeing detail at distance. So it'll be a game changer.
Well, that's really cool. And what kind of price is involved in that and the changeable lenses?
You can have your choice of lens when you purchase it, and depending on option, it'll vary from £6,000 to £9,000.
Okay. From that end of the scale to sort of more affordable night vision and thermal, what's on the market right now? What's the latest?
The Pulsar Quantum XD50S is our handheld thermal imager, which is our best-selling thermal imager. 1,250 metre detection range, identification range of 200 to 400 metres. You're looking at £2,700. In terms of night vision, we have a fantastic new Pulsar Phantom and white phosphor. So Phantom's been around for a while. We're now doing it in a white phosphor image intensifier tube, Russian intensifier tube, £1,759, and it has a man-sized detection range of up to 700 metres in ideal conditions. Image intensifiers of that quality are normally in the £3,000-4,000 mark, and the tubes are perfect, superb.
And I believe on here somewhere you have a 360 camera. Did I
Yes.
hear that right?
We do indeed, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I was
What-
intrigued about this.
We were at the SHOT Show, and we've taken on Wild Game Innovations as the UK distributor, and they have a range of wildlife cameras, but they have one in particular which is 360 degrees. So instead of your trail camera being mounted to a tree and you've a short peripheral vision, this you can mount on a post or on a ground spike or on a tree if you wish, and it is a motorised robotic arm which is very silent, which will move round and take images in 360 degrees. So if you've got a buck walking behind the camera,
It will follow it.
It will follow it, and it will take a picture
Wow.
of it if it moves in the front. Also great for security around pheasant pens. Put it in the middle of your pen, cover your whole pen.
It's cool. They've just brought it over actually, and I'm having a look at it now.
We'll take a
And
picture of it.
We'll
we can
take a
put it
picture
up.
so that everybody can see if they're watching on YouTube. But yeah, it basically a cylinder with a sensor, and yeah, 360 camera. I mean, 360 cameras have only
Look, it's just moved.
It has just moved.
It just moved
Yeah.
to follow you.
They've only really just started to come in now, but I guess we're going to see more of them.
Yeah, they are. This is the first one in the market. We have another camera which is coming as well from Moultrie, which has a panoramic view. So when it takes an image, it takes a panoramic view of about 200 degrees. So you'll get a huge area. If you're covering a field with bucks coming into a plantation, you can cover the whole area.
What kind of price range does this come in at?
360 cameras, $219.99.
Wow.
12 megapixels in HD video.
I thought you were going to say like 500 plus.
Yeah.
It's not a normal wildlife camera is 170 to 250 pounds, so it's bang on the money for
That's
the
incredible.
price, and it's at the top of the range in terms of technology. So
Brilliant.
something else rather cool.
Oh,
No, let's go and have a look.
Now we're going to try not to get caught up here. Hold on a second.
We have a Go Light range. We're now importing and distributing the Go Light range. So we have an LED Go Light which you can mount to the top of your truck, or your Land Rover in your case, Byron.
Of course.
It's remote controlled, and it'll have a beam of 3,711 feet.
Sorry, say that again.
3,711 feet.
That's impressive.
So if you're foxing at night and you want to illuminate, you've got a wireless remote control. You can walk away 150 yards away from your vehicle. You can control the light, put it wherever you want to do.
That's incredible.
We're also doing an infrared, and from the 1st of April, we're doing a thermal version. So a 360-degree thermal camera for your truck, inside remote control wireless, outside from your vehicle, wireless screen, you can walk around seeing what you're doing, truck cam inside the screen as well, so you can drive around with a thermal camera.
This is getting very
I
sci-fi
know,
now. The unit that we're looking at right now, which is the light, how much does that retail for?
$429.99 for the LED model. So that's the top of the range, all singing, all dancing, one with wireless remote control. And we do IR filters for them, and we're actually doing an IR version as well. Price still to be confirmed in the IR version, but if you're shooting with night vision at night, you can put an IR beam out to 3,000 feet.
It's still, I mean, the price, I thought you were going to say a lot more than that.
And they're weatherproof. They're the same. Soldiers in Afghanistan have these mounted to the top of Humvees. They're indestructible.
That's brilliant. No, I think some really cool kit
Yeah,
there for people
great.
to think about.
We're
Thank you
gonna
very
take
much
some
for your time, Paul.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So we're over at the Bushcraft store, that's a portable trailer, I guess. You've got a ton of great stuff in here. Tell me a little bit about the sort of go-to kit if you're into your bushcraft.
Well, first priority is always a knife, which we do our own range of knives. We do good set of steels, quality products is the main thing. Selling stuff in with longevity in mind.
So what kind of thing are you looking for in a good solid bushcraft knife? We'll just take a wander over to the stuff that you've got on display here.
Well, the first thing is good quality steel, because you want it to hold an edge for a good amount of time, and it's got to be easy to maintain, easy to sharpen. And if you're buying cheap Chinese stuff, it's just not going to do the job. It's going to be, so we always buy European steels. Some American steels are very good as well. And then something good and ergonomic, so something that's going to work in your hand for a long period of time without causing fatigue and hot spots, as they call them, and even blistering on your hands. So
now I'm a very big fan.
I was eyeing up that axes
Right.
because we've got a few.
Yeah, no, I'm a very big fan of axes. I mean, can you tell me a little bit about the company that makes these and how they're made?
yeah, they're. If you want to look it up, you can probably find it on the How Do They Make It program on Discovery or on National Geographic.
Yep.
They've actually been in their workshops, in their foundries, and take you through the entire process of making a good quality axe. They're this is the oldest company in Sweden. They've been going for about until 1880.
How do you pronounce it?
Wetterlings, SA Wetterlings. Again, they're using high quality Swedish steel, American hickory, and they're all handmade. So each individual, an axe smith will receive a block of steel, red hot obviously, and then he'll start literally from that process with a set of tongs into a steam hammer out the shape with the head, then it goes on to somebody else to hand grind it, and then all the handles are then fitted and go through that entire process all from start to finish. Each axe probably only goes through 3 or 4 people's hands.
No, that's amazing. So if you own one, you actually have a piece.
Yeah, I mean they're obviously all very look the same, but yeah, each individual one will be slightly different in every one.
And in terms of price range, we've got very little axes right the way up to sort of a full-blown log splitter here.
Yeah, not the cheapest of products, but again, it's that longevity thing. You don't buy one of these to replace it every year. You buy one for life. The only thing that you'd ever need replacing is probably the handle if you damage it. But they start around 60 quid and go up to about 110.
I have 2 and they're fantastic. I love them.
Yeah, they're when you use a quality product, you won't go back to a cheap drop forged product from where else in the world. Bearing in mind the Swedes have been making high quality axes for well over 1,000 years. You know, the Vikings conquered half of Europe, so
Raping and pillaging with their axes.
they all had axes, and they all had quality hand-forged steel.
That's great. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
So we're over at the Brock and Norris stand, and we're here with the man himself, Mike. Mike, for those people who don't know you already, which for those people who shoot, they probably already know who you are, what is your business all about?
Our business is principally custom rifle building, longer and extremely long range target and hunting rifles. But we also do commission work for tactical rifles, repairs, alterations, anything that's rifle based. I don't do anything to do with shotguns. We're purely rifle based.
And if you could pick just a handful of things that make an accurate rifle that you're looking at when you're building, these super accurate rifles, what is it? What's important?
The heart of any really accurate rifle is the barrel. We're very, very fortunate because we're located in the Midlands. I've got Sasson barrels are 25 minutes down the road from me. We're virtually using them exclusively now. Never had a bad barrel out of them. That's the heart, really, of an accurate gun. And after that, it's attention to detail. Yeah.
And a good trigger?
Good triggers, yeah. A trigger is the fire control system. Most triggers can be reworked to a very, very nice, crisp, light, clean but safe trigger pull. If the client wants something a little bit better, then you're looking at triggers from Timney, Arnold Jewel, Jard, Bix and Andy. There are lots of good units out there. But wholly and solely dependent upon the client's budget, whether they like a single stage pull or a two-stage pull, and also the intended use of the rifle. A 5-ounce bench rest trigger's got no place on a hunting rifle. But having said that, a 2.5 pound trigger that you use on a tactical gun's got no place on a bench rest rifle. So it's a matter of matching the components to the job in hand.
And if someone has always wanted a custom rifle, as most people who shoot would love one at some point, I mean, what kind of money are you looking at? What is it possible to build a custom rifle for? Obviously, a lot of that is component parts, but if you've a fairly limited budget, what could you build a custom rifle for?
You can start with something like Howat Action in a Bell & Carlson stock with a Sasson barrel, bedded, Trude Action, reworked trigger, from about £1,500 upwards. A lot of it depends on any particular refinements, whether you want a fluted barrel, if you want alterations to the bolt knobs, mounting systems. You may not want a Bell & Carlson stock, you may want a Macmillan stock, you may want a chassis system stock for that rifle, you may want one of the excellent GRS laminate stocks. The price can go as far as your imagination can.
Options are limitless.
They are. That's the whole meaning of custom or bespoke. We've built rifles from £1,500 up to over £15,000.
That's incredible. Yeah. But the bottom line is that if you've always wanted a custom rustle,
it's not out of reach.
It's not out of reach. I mean, you're talking. There are plenty of factory rifles out there that cost a hell of a lot more than what you could basically have a custom rifle for.
Absolutely. We've always had this working ethic that try and give the customers what they want. Not everybody has that amount of disposable income that enables them to go and buy a £4,500 blazer off the shelf. Very, very nice, lovely weapon, great. But not everybody has that amount of disposable income. Desire and practicality is what you're always working with. Someone may actually desire something which is more accurate, more robust, something which is individual to them. But not everybody's earning, the high figures that enables them to do so. We try to produce a range of rifles right the way across the board for the working guy who's on a limited budget, the young guy who's got a young family, he's got bills to pay, but he still enjoys his shooting sport. If you can produce something of reasonable cost that still gives them that quality and accuracy, then you've got happy customers.
And I can see accuracy is not a problem. I'm looking around all your targets here, and I think pretty much all like quarter MOA. It's ridiculous. But Mike, look, thank you very much for your time, and great to speak to you.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to speak to you guys. Have a good show.
Thank you.
Cheers, Mike. So we're over at the Irish Game Fair stand to talk about a game fair not on this side of the water, but on the other side of the water. Tell us a little bit about it and why people should make the journey from here. Because you've obviously you've come all the way over here to promote it. So.
Yeah. Well, we're the biggest Irish game fair. We've been going since 1979, and we're based. We do 3 events every year: Shane's Castle, County Antrim. We do another one in Castle, County Offaly, and then we do another event in Ballinhinch in County Down.
And what kind of for people who haven't been over to, I've been fortunate enough to be across some of the Irish Game Fairs, but for those people who haven't, what kind of thing can they expect to find there?
Yeah, well, we have fantastic competitions, some of the best competitions in the country. We have clay shooting, we have lurcher competitions, which we have qualifiers come from right across England, Scotland and Wales. We have the Master McGrath Challenge, that's to find the fastest lurcher in the UK and Ireland. And then we have the Five Nations Lurcher and Terrier Championship. So we have, again, qualifiers from right across the country. So we have all sorts of competitions. We have a massive main arena programme with all sorts of various entertainment. From the Victorian poacher, we have medieval jousting, we have the muzzle loaders.
Jousting, Baron. Should we give it a go?
Yeah, so we have all sorts of stuff. We have a massive lurcher enthusiasts there. We have competitions and we have all sorts of stuff. This year we have some new lurcher competitions which I can't really talk about yet because they're still in the pipeline.
Really, you can't talk about them at all?
I can't talk about them at all. We have a good competition coming up, but I can't discuss it just yet. So we're going to keep that. We're going to reveal that soon. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff, and then obviously it's Ireland. We've got a sort of heritage of hunting, and we've got hounds, and we've got everything.
You guys love your dogs over there. So if you're into your dogs, it's a great place.
Yeah, well, let's say the lurchers, the terriers. We've got hounds, we've got beagles, we are really sort of the event in Ireland for country sport, without blowing our own trumpet, of course.
Of course.
But we get a massive crowd. We get a lot of people across from the mainland, from England, and it's getting better and better every year. We had our most successful year last year. 2015, we had sort of record numbers, and so it's going very well, and we really seem to be getting a lot of people from across the water, so it's good,
That's great. Now, if people want to find out a bit more info, where's the best place to find you guys?
There's loads of stuff. You can check us out on Facebook, and then we've got a website. We've also got a magazine. Actually, I didn't mention the magazine. We've got.
We spotted that earlier on.
We were flicking through
it.
A
magazine, Irish Country Sports and Country Life magazine. It's been going for a long, long time. We've got 80,000 readers. You can buy it in the shop. You can read it online, so you can read across the world. We get people from everywhere. We've all sorts of articles. You can see we've got, and it incorporates angling as well. So it actually includes Irish Game Angler magazine. So we get everything here. We get lurchers, we get shooting, we got.
Are all the articles in there? Is it all sport in Ireland, or do you cover stuff abroad?
No, we cover stuff from right across the board. We've got correspondents from Scotland. We've got correspondents from England. I write in it myself, cover various things, usually lurchers or tackles or whatever I've been up to. But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff there. Everything for somebody. And then we've got the angling section as well. So
now, we've had a lot of requests on the podcast to do lurchers.
Yeah, actually, we have a lot of guys asking for us to have a discussion with guys about dogs and dog hunting and the regulations that are involved, especially on our side of it.
Yeah, no, well, I'm actually I'm a lurcher enthusiast, but yeah, it would be a good thing to bring on your podcast. There's a massive interest in lurchers right across the country.
Yeah, there is definitely.
Ireland, especially at the great game fairs, we have the competitions. As I said, the Master McGrath Challenge. Which is I
was at one of them a couple of years ago with Charlie Jacoby, actually.
Yeah. Well, the Master McGrath's really taken off. I don't know if you know the story, but there was a greyhound from Lurgan who won the Waterloo Cup. It was owned by Lord Lurgan. There's a great heritage behind it. So the greyhound was called Master McGrath, and he was there's a whole history. You can look it up online, and he was from Lurgan in Northern Ireland. So we took the name of the Master McGrath. We made the Master McGrath Challenge to find obviously not the fastest greyhound, but the fastest lurcher in the country, So I think the prize fund's up now to about £1,500.
Oh wow,
that's some good money.
Yeah. We hope to get it up more. We're always pushing it forward. Then we have as I said, the Five Nations as well. So we really make lurchers and terriers part of our events. They're very much part of the entire thing, and we get a great contingent of lurcher people from all right across. All the England, Scotland, Wales coming across. It was fantastic.
Maybe that's where we need to head to do our podcast.
When I was there quite a few years ago now, there was actually a Miss Ireland finalist racing a dog there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, Rose McCoy, I think.
That's right, yes, no, because I vaguely know her mom, actually.
Oh, right, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, through Charlie.
Oh, okay,
Through
yeah.
Charlie.
Oh, right, yeah, that would be Rose McCoy. Yeah, Rose and her family have had a lot of success racing, big racing enthusiasts with lurchers and showing and various things, but I know them well. You'll always see them at our events, but they do very well, yeah, fantastic. And Miss Ireland as well, into the bargain.
Yeah.
So when is it? When is
We have Shane's Castle on the 25th and 26th of June, and we have Burghcastle County Offaly 27th and 28th of August, and then we have the Montalto Estate, and that's in Ballinhinch in County Down, on the 24th and 25th of September.
So there's no excuse. You can make one.
No excuse. We have great accommodation. We have discounts on your travel. We have great Guinness, and we have a fantastic event with a massive number of people. And you come over for a brilliant weekend, and you're going to see. You guys are going to be there. I think you're going to come across.
Well, I guess we're going to have to.
Yeah, I know we're going to have to now.
There's no going back. But no, a fantastic event. Great numbers, something for everybody. We've got hunting, shooting, fishing, hounds, lurchers, terriers, and great Irish
That's
hospitality.
something you don't really, for the game fairs I've been to in the past, you don't really see.
No, you see a bit of foxhounds, but you don't see a really hardcore
lurchers and so on.
I guess it's so ingrained in the sort of Irish culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, the Great Game Fairs of Ireland really put an emphasis on that. We really support lurchers, and there's a lot of small, especially in Northern Ireland, there's a lot of small working dog events, lurcher events, terrier events right across, and we sponsor and support all those events. So to really give our support to working dogs and lurchers and terriers. And then we have of course we have the hounds, and we have the beagles here too, the Sunnyland beagles from Northern Ireland who are very well known pack. So I follow the hounds. So I try to do anything I do in my own hunting and sort of my own interest, sort of bringing as part of the fair.
And I don't think we actually got around to the. Oh, I can see it here. So it's www.irishgamefair.com.
Yeah, www.irishgamefair. And they said we're on Facebook as well. You can check us out on there, see all the updates. And I have vouchers actually here for half price admission to any of the fairs. So if you want those, get in touch with me Facebook. I'll send them out. I'll give you a load before you go.
Well, how about that? So some of our listeners, if they want, they can.
We'll pick up some from you, and then we can give them to our listeners.
Can you get half price admission to any Irish Game Fair event?
That is awesome.
We'll send it out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you the flyers. You can take it along. And anybody wants it, we send it out. So yeah, no problem. Lovely.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great to speak to you again. Catch you later.
So we're currently we're in the third hole, aren't we, Byron?
Yeah, I think third and final hole. Air guns.
Yeah, air guns and airsoft, and actually we played a very cool hunting game earlier on, didn't we?
That was so much fun. It was
like wild ball, but
it's a system that you can find on the Viking Arms website.
Yeah.
And it was driven wild boar simulated and very, very addictive.
Yeah, so right now we're currently watching a cooking display, an outdoor cooking display.
Yeah, I think it started off, we never saw the start of it, but it started off about a demonstration on decoying pigeons, and now I believe they are cooking pigeons on the floor.
Yeah, in a little camp stove, and this is inside in the arena.
Exactly the kind of stuff that we like to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I can actually smell it.
I can smell it. It smells really good.
I feel quite hungry. It's almost 12 o'clock on the last day, and it is about lunchtime. And I think that looks a lot better than the lunch that we bought from the supermarket.
I know, it does, doesn't it?
Smells
I think we would get strange looks if we started up the camp stove in the middle of the...
I thought you were going to say just wander across and start
and try some. I would try some.
I love pigeon.
Yep.
And we better wander on. Oh, hang on a second. Here's Rob Collins. Rob, Byron Pace. How are you doing? This is my brother. This is my brother Daryl.
I thought it was you, Byron.
I think somebody just threw a rose at me. I'm not sure.
For you and me.
Yeah. Anyway, how are you doing?
Not too bad. Flat out like a lizard drinking. You know what it's like.
Have you got a couple of minutes to talk to us?
Of course I have. I'm due in here in a minute. Me and Ralph, who's cooking at the moment, we're doing a ready, steady cook with a Laurel and Hardy twist. A bit of banter, a bit of fun. We drew a crowd yesterday that queued right back to those stands and filled the whole ring all the way around. And we sent them away crying with laughter.
That's brilliant. Just briefly, before you get pulled in, tell us what projects and stuff you're working on. You've got a lot of cool projects on the go all the time. I can't even keep up with all the stuff that you do.
Co-projects. Basically, most of it's based with Pass It On Young Sports.
I see it online. We see it online.
Yep. We're getting really big now, and we're all volunteers. None of us. I mean, Tim, who's with me here, he's just starting off the Scottish Pass It On for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So where are you going to be based?
Up in Scottish borders, near Hoyk.
I used to live in Galashiels. So.
Small world, eh? That's where my parents live now, live in Tweed Bank as well. So we're hoping to do it at a couple of local grounds, or possibly on one of the local shoots So we'll see how we get on. But it's just basically same Rob on Facebook. It's a fantastic idea to just sort of carry it on over the border.
I mean, it's really taken off, Rob. And I mean, where did it all start? And where, obviously, you've got a massive passion for field sports. But where did it start that you thought, right, we need to do this and help encourage people? Obviously, it's a very important part of
and encourage young people.
Yeah.
The thing is it started off when I was a very young boy. And my granddad, if ever you read any of my books, I talk about my granddad and my dad an awful lot. They put a lot of passion into my granddad would teach any kid anything. And what I noticed is as we've got further on in field sports, it's become so expensive, and a lot of people charge a lot of money to take a kid's day out or whatever, you know. And some people are charging 25, 30 quid for one kid for a day. All we do it for free. All we ask for is if you can chuck 2 quid in the kitty to help cover costs, great. If you can't afford it, come anyway. And what it started off was about 7 years ago, we did with the Woodspring Shooting Club, which is I'm the chairman of, we did a young sports day. And I pulled in about 5 or 6 other shooting clubs, said, bring some speciality with you. We had falconers come in, we had dog trainers, we had all sorts. We all clubbed together. And we did a fantastic day. I mean, you guys might have seen it on Field Sports Britain.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you guys. Yep. I mean, Charlie came and covered it, and it was brilliant. We did ferreting in the morning. James Marchinson was editor of Sporting Shooter then, and James came down because James is a keen ferreter himself. And we did a brilliant day. And the whole day went absolutely fabulous, right the way up to the afternoon when we had archery and we had catapults and we had dog training. We even did ferreting. Well, all the shooting was going on over us. We even did ferreting with hawks, with the cameras rolling and about 200 people watching. It was great.
Incredible.
And I thought to myself then, we've got to do more of this. So me and the other chairmen of the other clubs said, we've got to get together and do something. So that's where Pass It On was born. Right from that day, Pass It On Young Sports was born on that day. And here we are now. Look how much further on we are.
Now, when I'm looking on Facebook, you see some very young kids, and they're fascinated when you're plucking stuff and preparing it and so on. I mean, it's incredible to
the trouble is the modern thing is a lot of mums and all that, they won't it's chicken, I won't touch it, dead the breast, and then they get by the edge of the packet and tip it in the pan and all this. And of course then the kids go, oh my god, it's like, oh, it's a spider sort of thing. So what I do now is I get in there, come in here kids, and like, oh, this is feathers, and and I've been, I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, I went to a school with part of my own business, so I went to a school and promoted it with Pass It On. And
I did. I saw it in the school. Yep.
Yeah, and we had kids there breasting up pigeons and pheasants.
That's the one I saw.
Skinning rabbits.
Yeah. How did you convince the school to do that? I mean, that's brilliant. Yeah. How did you manage to convince?
We need more of this.
Well, I put on a bit of the old edge creeper's charm, smiled a lot at the headmistress, and luckily she was a farm girl growing up herself, so she said, do you know, I'd really like to see the kids do this. So we did this, and it's grown from that. I've done 5 schools now from that.
What kind of reaction do you get from the parents? Because obviously the parents will know that their kids are doing this.
Some of the parents straight away was, shooting, oh my god, that's so cruel, we don't want kids near it. So then I talked to them and I said, you're saying shooting's cruel or field sports is cruel. Why? And then I explained, I said, would you eat meat? And we talked about it. And, again, with a bit of the old edge creeper's charm. Parents came round. And one lady, we did young sports day on the school field, and she came like, no, I'm totally scared of guns. Guns should be banned. Everything else. I said, why? He said, my stepfather used to point unloaded guns at me and play and pretend to shoot me. It scared the life out of me. So
that's not a good start, is it?
Not a great start.
No.
I thought, what an idiot. I could really smack you around the ear, really. You know what I mean? And so I took this lady, I said, have a go on the air rifle range. Do you know, it prized the gun out of her hand. Her smile went from ear to ear. She said, I want another go. She must have fired 100 pellets. I said, you're going to have to let someone else have a go. You've got 20 kids stood behind you. So it said, I said, why don't you have a go on the clay pigeon shooting? Coming out, oh no, that was the ones I didn't like. I was really scared of those. I said, well look, let's start off really small, have one go, because you've never pulled the trigger on. I said, with the other gun you were scared of, I said, now look, you want to go back for more. Okay, because it's you, Rob, she said, I'll try it because I trust you. She dusted her first clay. Man, she went 410, 20 bore, 12 bore. She was dusting them all over the place. Now, her and her son have both got their own licenses. They've both got a 410 each, they've both got an air rifle each, and they go to the local shooting ground.
That's great.
So that's it, you know what I mean? So what better can you get than that, guys?
I think explaining to people, taking the time to explain to people is what is needed.
Yeah. And it's not you haven't got to get too serious.
No, that's you don't know.
Because it scares people out. It's like, oh, that's right in my face, you know. You've got to make it a little bit fun, put a bit of charm on, and talk people into it. Because if everybody's too in your face, it's like, oh, I'm not doing that. No, a bit pompous. pompous bugger. I'm not doing that, you know. So, you know me, I try and get on with everybody. I'm a mucker, proper job.
Now, we'll let you go, but if people want to find out a bit more about what you do, how's the best way to do that?
Best way to do is on our website, which is all the www.passonyoungsports.org.uk, or
Facebook if you're a Facebook user.
Facebook if you're a Facebook user, Twitter, Instagram.
You're on
the
all
works. I can't remember all of them because the kids keep putting me on them, and I'm like, oh, you got to post it to this one. So I got hundreds of kids. I mean, if you'd have been here yesterday, we had a 20 club meet from Facebook, or 20 plus Facebook groups advertised to meet at the Pass It On stand.
Really?
We blocked off an entire aisle.
I wish I'd seen that.
I
It
know.
was absolutely huge, and then they all followed me into the show ring and come and watch me cook yesterday.
That's brilliant.
The cheers and the laughter, and people were going away with tears in their eyes, laughing their head off. It was a brilliant day. Yes, I couldn't have. British shooting show. What can you do?
And we're going to see it in Scotland now.
Yep. Launching in Scotland in terms of top
almost on our doorstep.
I say, come and follow us. Come and do some more. And I say, if you guys want to come down to any taster days, with or without the mics, I want to see how good you really can shoot, boys.
We'll take that challenge up, Rob.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
buddy.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tim. So we're wandering through a little bit more of the airgun stand. We've got air arms and various different custom airguns. So I'm a little bit out of the airgun world these days. I kind of left it behind for full balls, but it's just massive, and I think there's probably actually more people in here than
Yeah, I think there is, and the range is pretty cool with
Yeah,
the
they've
pop-up
got-
targets and.
But they've got, I mean, there must be about 30 spaces along here, and you can have a go at the air rifle and shoot knockdown targets. Really good fun, especially if you've never done it before. It's a really good way to come and test it out. But we are heading towards Night Vision UK.
Yeah.
We are actually going to be here. Well, look how busy the stand is over there. Night Vision UK. Mob.
Yeah.
We're coming here at 2 o'clock because they have a prize draw for something that they wanted us to come and witness. So we're going to.
We'll
be
try.
back here a
We'll
little
try
bit
and
later.
grab one of them now.
We'll try, but
they
it
are.
looks incredibly busy.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know whether we're going to be able to grab Pete. I think we might have to grab him later, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we are. At 2 o'clock, we'll come back.
We'll come back
Yeah.
at 2 o'clock and we'll grab him then, because he's surrounded by about 30 people. So we've just come over to the Virac stand. Now, I am a little bit out of the airgun world myself, but I do actually own three
of them.
Viracs, actually, although they don't see a lot of use right now. Tom, you're here on the Virac stand. Tell me what the latest from Virac is.
Latest from Virac is our new PCP range. It's called the HW110. It's a synthetic polymer action with a beach stock with a rubber soft touch finish to it. It's lighter than a standard 100, but it's got a full-length cylinder on it and a full-length barrel. You get roughly 110 shots out of a 177, 130 out of a 22. Biggest thing about it though is it's going for that price range now, which Virac's never had on the PCP. So it's going to be retailing at $645, which is an unbelievable price.
Wow, that's incredible value. I mean, can we just wander over towards it so I can kind of look at it while we're talking about it?
I'll just grab one off for you.
We're just going to get Tom to take it out the stand for us. But
And then we'll come back and take some pictures of it.
yeah,
for
we'll
the-
have to
for
take
the
some
show.
pictures for everybody to see. But
So this is it.
sorry. Now, did you say it's a polymer action?
Yes, if you see here, it's all moulded round together like this. You've got your Picatinny rail, which is all part of it at the top there. So it just makes it a lot lighter. I don't know if you want to have a feel it. You can carry it in one
I've
hand.
just got this in one hand. I mean, what is the weight on it? I can feel it's very light.
About 3.25 kilograms.
Nothing.
I mean, I started life with the Virac 97, which I think I saw around the back here, which is a
97 just round there, yeah.
spring rifle, and then the Virac 100, which was your introduction into the PCP world.
Yeah, I mean, the PCP range for us has just been the 100. That's been going on for about 12, 13 years. Itself has hardly changed. It's been one of the best-selling rifles in anything PCP, Virac. If you look at some of the magazines, it's always top of the list. There's been hardly any changes to it. The only things you can really see have changed by it was the quick fill mechanism on the cylinder, and that's about it, and the silencer could be removed. Other than that, it's one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's been doing well for so long, why change it?
Exactly. The only thing we'll be doing is putting different stocks on it.
Yeah.
So the last time we kind of had an update on it was the adjustable laminate, which came out last April. It's sold by the bucket loads. Still does to this day.
It's amazing because you were. I mean, it's an awesome brand, and that's why I love your spring guns. But you were really late into the PCP game. Was that just because you wanted to make sure you got it right?
Kind of. I think one thing with Virac is it's a traditionally family-run company, And springers for them has always been their bread and butter for the years and years and years they've been going on there. So it's kind of like, do they want to start forteing into that sort of area because they were doing so well with the springers? But in the end they thought, no, that's it, we're going to take the plunge now, and then launch the PCP back then. You can say the same thing now with the 110. You look at other companies like Air Arms and BSA, they've got more than one type of PCP on the market. Virac's always just had just the one. So now we've kind of look at, right, what markets do we need to address for? We need to go for a lower spec now with this.
Yeah.
So we're looking at now, this isn't a replacement.
More affordable.
More affordable, exactly. This isn't a replacement for the 100. It's to combat, say, for example, the Air Arms S410. That's why we like compete against people like that. Another good thing with this though is we've listened to what people had to say about the 100. Any query, not complaints, but any improvements I think we could make on it. The number one thing was the cocking lever. Before it was only on one side on the 100. Now, if you wanted to, you can have it crested, we'll put the cocking lever on the other side. It's good for lefties, because now it means they can now fire it. Or if you've got your field target shooters, who never like to take the finger off the trigger, it could just be fire, fire, fire. That's how you got there.
And just to touch on your spring guns, I mean, I assume it's still quite a big part of the market for you. I mean, there are still some people that love a good spring gun.
The spring guns are never going to go away. Never ever going away. It's now getting to a point where people have had PCPs now for so long, it's not fun for them anymore because it's not a challenge.
So they're going back to spring.
They're going back to spring. I was talking to a chap yesterday who was saying he had his 100, loves it, keeps it, but he just shoots rabbits every time. He gets more satisfaction now with his 97. He goes down to the field, one pellet, one kill, because it just feels like he's earned it, really.
Yeah, you need a lot more concentration. It takes more skill to shoot a spring gun.
Exactly, definitely, and it's more a case of you got to make sure you got to get that target right, because with a 100, as you know yourself, it's a quiet gun. So if you miss them with one, rabbit might just look, what's that, and not bother it. You get it with the second one.
A bee buzzing around its head or something.
Exactly.
What's going on?
With the 97, when you hear that spring going on there, if you don't get the first time, that's it. It's gonna run away. But if you get it with that first shot, it's just a bit of self-satisfaction, really, knowing that you've now done something there with your one shot, one kill.
With old school technology too.
Exactly. Yes. It's always going to go around like that. We've also got things like the junior rifles, our 30S kits. It's a way of getting people introduced into Virac brand, really. Also getting kids into shooting. And dads like to come and bring the kids along and show them respect what an air rifle can do. You're not going to get that with a 100 because it's just simple and easy. You need to teach a child how to cock it properly, load it, aim it, fire it.
And is that a smaller, like 6 foot-pound?
Yes, yeah, 7 foot-pound. We've got a kit version of it, which comes complete with scope, muzzle brakes, and mount. So it's a great little present. But you can still get it with a fixed open sight. So when you want to teach a child, how to shoot old school, so to speak.
And that's how we started.
Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah.
Is it? Again, it's kind of that satisfaction. I mean, again, going back yesterday, I had a dad there with his 2 little lads, and he was there. He was teaching them, saying to them, right, this is a rifle. Check that it's not loaded. Make sure you point it in the right way. Right, this is what you do with it. And he was being, really stern with it. But the lads were taking it on board. And then when I said to them, look, we've got one on the range there, they got all excited because they want to go on there and just start firing things. So he said, right, we're going to go there. He wants me to teach him a bit more about it, what it does, so he knows he's going to give his lads the right thing to use. And then you get them on that, and the way up the ladder. Obviously, it's a hobby which can be ever increasing because you've got that many different varieties of rifles out on there. It depends on what route's best for you, whether it's your brake barrel, your underlever, things like that.
Or if you just like them all, then you can have them all. But the first air rifle I bought myself personally was a Virac 99 when they had just come out.
Yeah, the 99 is still going strong. We say like the 30S kit is good for juniors to get into shooting, but for your adults, we say the 99. It's just nice, simple, easy to use. Nice cocking system, just give it a good whack, put the pellet in, fire, that's it. As soon as you've mastered that, you move your way onto the 95, the 80, something like that for your brake barrel routes. Or for my personal favourite, 98, which to me is the daddy of all our brake barrels. Got a nice big thick bull barrel on it, lovely unique stock with adjustable cheek piece and butt pad on it. It's just to me, that's the daddy of our brake barrel range.
I think my heart still lies with my Virac 97, but it's been really good to speak to you. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for that. Well, we've just stopped past and we saw a sign for combating Lyme disease, which is an increasing problem in the UK. Sorry, who are we speaking to? We didn't.
Professor Martha Clokey.
Oh, very, very nice to meet you. My name's Byron.
And I'm Daryl.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Can you, for those people who have heard of it but don't know anything about it. Can you tell us how you catch it and what the problem with it and why it can make you so sick?
Yeah, so generally you catch it in this country from being bitten by a tick. So anybody who has increased exposure to ticks, such as gamekeeping or anything that takes you out into the field, walking dogs and forests and so on.
Yeah.
If you're bitten by a tick, about a third of all the ticks in this country are thought to carry the bacteria Borrelia. So it's a bacteria, it's carried by the tick, and when the tick bites you, it inserts the bacteria into you. And about half of the time you may get a rash if the bacteria has been injected into you, but you may not. So if you do see a big bullseye rash, they call it, following a tick bite, it's really important to see medical attention because there's a short window which is really important you try and treat the infection during that time period.
So what happens to you if you don't seek medical attention?
Well, the problem with Borrelia or Lyme disease is it presents as in a whole series of quite difficult ways for a doctor to diagnose. So you can end up having problems with your joints, all sorts of neurological disorders. You can end up being sort of having symptoms such as chronic fatigue is very common. So there can be a lot of sort of non-specific symptoms that it's really hard to pick up.
But very serious though.
Very, very serious. And it can result, I mean, people, also, if it's not, some people are unlucky enough, it can shorten your life significantly. It can cause, you have to take very heavy duty antibiotics to try and get rid of it. Also associated with things like arthritic type of conditions. So it's a seriously nasty disease to pick up.
And how is the best way, if you think, I'm not sure, I've got a bit of a rash, how do you go about getting tested for it?
We should really be very, very pushy towards your GP that this is what you think you have, and really mention that you've been bitten by a tick. Because it's relatively uncommon, or certainly a lot of GPs are not familiar with Lyme disease. We've had a lot of people stop by our stand over the last couple of days who are gamekeepers or people who've been exposed, who've been bitten by ticks, and they've really been very, very proactive with their GP. So you should really say, I've been bitten by a tick, I would really like a test for Lyme disease.
Yeah, really push it on them.
Yeah.
See, that's an interesting thing because I got bitten by a tick about a year ago. Now, I get bitten by ticks all the time. Well, not all the time, but, periodically because I spend a lot of time out on the hill. But this particular one bit me under my arm and I came out in a bit of a rash. But it wasn't like what I would say is the stereotypical, but I don't normally react. And I went to my GP and they said, oh, that's fine, we'll take blood and we'll send it away to get tested. And they called me back some weeks later and said, oh, we sent it to Inverness, and they said because of the various questionnaires, I said they won't test it. I mean, and I thought, well, hang on, but I've asked for it to be tested. So, I mean, is this a common thing, or?
Yeah, no, that seems to be, that story is consistent with a lot of stories we've been hearing over the last few days. Yeah, and that people, I think, that's just that it's really not known, not taken as seriously in this country as it should be. And we've had people come by from, in Central Europe, it's a lot more known and managed and dealt with. And again, from the area of America that it came from, the northeast of America, people are a lot more familiar with it, know how to spot it in these early stages.
Would you say it's getting worse in this country?
Yeah, it does seem to be getting worse. People are the rates are increasing, but there's also an increasing awareness of it.
Yeah.
So which is really good.
And is that due to our mild winters and the ticks not? Well, I mean, is there a reason behind it that you know?
It's quite a complicated disease. There's a whole type of bacteria that are related of these Borrelia bacteria. Some cause disease and some don't, and then there's a whole set of different types of ticks that carry it. So it's a sort of it's hard to understand all the underlying factors. There's certainly places within the UK where there are higher rates of it of Borrelia being reported than others. So what we're doing in our research is trying to actually find a new way of trying to target it, and also to try and detect it more accurately. And that's using viruses that infect the bacteria. So I don't know if you can, your listeners obviously won't be able to see, but
we'll come back and take some
pictures.
But so all bacteria have got viruses that infect them. So if you see this little cartoon in the middle of our stand, that just shows, so when a virus sees it, that's a bacteria, that round thing, and you've got the little ant-like thing as a virus. You can see it's injecting itself and basically obliterating it. And so all bacteria have got these natural viruses, so we're trying to find the very specific viruses that target the Borrelia disease. And ultimately what we'd like to do is use that very specific interaction to make a more specific diagnostic, and then also make a better treatment that you could give to people when they have missed that window of the couple of weeks having been.
So you have to do it very soon after you get bitten?
At the moment you do, yeah. So, and the other thing actually is about the test that's used at the moment is not very there are problems with the tests. You either have an antibody-based test or a molecular-based test, and they're both not very sensitive and not very specific. So there's a lot of problems with false negatives. So you might even have got your test and you come back negative.
Yeah, well, I think probably the problem was I got bitten, and then I had to go abroad for a while working, and then I only had time to go and get the test when I came back, and I think they thought that too long had passed.
So you're gone. That's it.
Well,
now,
hopefully
I
it's
want to
nothing.
ask a question. Does it affect animals?
Well, that's a really, really good question.
Obviously, gun dogs.
It's controversial, but there's certainly in some places it's accepted that it does, and many vets are convinced that you see dogs that basically behave in a really odd sort of loopy way, having been bitten by ticks. And a lot of vets think that there's evidence that they have it, but it's not. It's quite controversial. My colleague was at a conference in Vienna, a Lyme disease conference, this last year, at the end of last year. And there was a lot of discussion about this amongst vets. But certainly a journalist for the Sporting Gun dropped by, and she was saying that in Connecticut area of America, there's a test for Borrelia carriage by dogs, and 90% of all the dogs in the area that were tested were shown to have a positive antibodies towards Borrelia. So exactly what symptoms it causes and exactly how much of a problem is I say, controversial, but there's certainly some evidence that dogs do carry it and suffer.
Now, I see on your stand here, it says, we need a large amount of ticks. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, of course. So, I was mentioning to you that all bacteria have got their natural viruses.
Yep.
Well, the question is, where do you find those viruses in the first place to harvest them and then use them? And in general, you'll find them associated with where those bacteria are. So, for example, people have found you can easily find viruses that target all sorts of other bacteria that make us sick. You can find them in sewage. Sewage is a brilliant place for virus hunting. But in this case, because the ticks are carrying the Borrelia virus bacteria, we think they're probably carrying these natural viruses as well. So therefore we're examining ticks both for the presence of the bacteria which we're studying, but mainly to look for these viruses. So what we hoped, the reason why we're here is we wanted to engage with people that are basically being out in the hills and being bitten by ticks. And then all they need to do is just basically, we've got these little envelopes, we're just asking people to just to pick the ticks off their dogs or off the deer that they're rollicking or whatever, and send us the ticks. And then what we'll do with those ticks is we dissect them, take out their hind guts and pick out we enrich the bacteria, and then we look for the presence of viruses.
So, listeners, send in the ticks.
Send them to us.
So, I mean, if people want to be involved in this program, where can they find these to get the sample bottles?
So they can write, if they write to us at the University of Leicester, so can you make my email address?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll put it in the description for the podcast, so we'll stick that.
Yeah, so it's mrjc1 at leicester.ac.uk, but we can, and if people write to us, we can send them out some pre-labelled envelopes with little pots that they can pop the ticks into.
What we might do, we work quite a bit with the Merlin groups around us.
Oh, okay, great.
So what we will do is, if you've got some, we'll grab some off you.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, we can.
And we can give it to the keepers.
Yeah, no, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
We're right on the edge of a load of grouse moors and also some big deer forests as well. So we can go and give them to the keepers and then tell them that they need to.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Look, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us. We're walking along to best fox calls and best deer calls, and I've just spotted Brent Norbury along with Rob Crampton, who's in here. So we're going to haul Brent out. And hey, Brent, how are you doing?
See you.
We're just doing a quick bit of interviews for the podcast.
Oh yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Except I was meant to be here about 4 hours ago, but
traffic.
No, car broke down.
Ah, there we go.
So
it wasn't a Land Rover, was it?
No, it wasn't. No.
That's the joke I normally get.
Mitsubishi. But yeah, I'm here now, so it's nice.
Now we've just been sent the new Vorn rucksacks, and you have brought.
I've got it there.
You got it there. Which one's that you've just got?
The deer, the 2016.
Yeah,
they're very, very nice.
Yeah,
just we could do it, but since you were here, we might as well speak to the other pro staff. I mean, tell us about the concept. We're using it in some of the films that we're doing, but tell us about the concept and your use of it.
My use is, well, I would actually say it's very similar to you guys, because I'm a lot on the hill ground. I am working in forestry, but I do a lot of long stalks. I could be out for 5-6 hours. So it's much nicer to have the rifle that's in the rucksack, and I don't have to worry about it.
And it's you can fit a scope in it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a downfall of a few rucksacks.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah.
So it's a really handy tool, especially for me, because my rifle is a little heavy, and it just makes the hill walking so much more comfortable.
Now we're going to put up a picture of the new Vorn rucksack that they've brought out. It's not available yet, and I don't think it will be for some time actually. And I believe so. What is that with a Realtree camo you've got there?
No, that's the green.
The green. So we've got a Realtree one as well. So they're bringing out a few different camos as well, which is pretty cool. And it's
softer
finish, so it's not as noisy. Not that the last one was noisy at all, but
I didn't think it was a
more
problem,
waterproof.
but they seem to think so.
Yeah, they seem to change it, but I was happy with the first one.
Now the thing that is very impressive about this rucksack is the quick release on it. It's very unique. I've not seen one like that before.
No, when I first saw it, because I have a few friends from Norway, and then I saw the rucksack and I thought no one else has done anything like this before. And then I thought I've got to have one, and I just bought one from the company, and then they told us about this Pro Staff. But when I got it and I tried it, I was like, this is something else, and it just made stalking so much easier. But now they've made the new one, the 2016, and you got the better release. I think that's much better now, because they had that. It was just a piece of material, really.
Yeah, with a button on it.
Yeah, you just pulled it. But this it's a handle now, so it's so much nicer.
Now I want to ask you. I've seen it online. Your film.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, tell us
about
A lot of questions about that. It's taken longer than I expected to do.
As all filming always does.
Filming, but the trailer is out.
Yeah.
And
which
I'm
we've
hoping,
seen.
Yeah. Thank you. The pre-order is going to be out in a week, so it'll come with one of these hats and loads of goodies, and then it should be released the first week in April. Then it's done. Then you can buy it.
How long's the show, the film going to be?
At the moment, it's going to be around 80 minutes.
Wow, 80 minutes. That's a series. We know because we've got 6 episodes of 40 minutes each coming out, and we know how much work is involved in 40 minutes.
Yeah, this has taken a year, nearly 2 years of work. I'm filming all on my own. Only one stalk I've had a cameraman with me.
So
is that your brother?
Yeah, that's my brother.
So just quickly, what are we going to see in it?
Both red stags, red hinds, roebucks, rodos, so deer stalking throughout the winter, and foxes throughout the whole year. So I've tried to do a year of everything I do where I live in Scotland.
Yeah, very cool.
And if people want to check it out, the trailer, it's on YouTube, and if they want to order the DVD, how do they do that?
That will be on my website, which is brentnorburyhunting.co.uk. So it'll be ready for there, and the pre-order will be on there next week.
And of course, you're also an artist.
Yes.
I've been spying your work.
Yeah.
So and all your work's on the website as well.
Yes. Yeah. It's all on the website, and it's easy to find it on my Facebook page and Instagram as well. I'm always advertising it.
Now, I heard that you were going to be doing some calling demonstrations.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to
call
you out.
Yeah.
Because we would like some calling demonstrations on the podcast.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Let's do it.
I'll go get it.
You might have heard in the background when we were actually speaking to Brent.
Somebody was calling with something.
Someone was calling.
I think it was Rob Crampton, using some of the best foxholes, but we're going to speak to him next.
Yep, we will.
Okay, so what do you have here, Brent?
So I have here my stag call, which is from Best Deer Call. This first time I used it was last year for the stag rut, and I called in 4 stags, and 2 of which were shot. One was a Scottish silver medal, and the other was a nice 12-pointer. And I've been calling stags for the last 3 years. It's been a bit on and off. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But last year was the best I've ever had, and it was so effective. And I think it's mainly because I got a better call. Originally, I actually made my own and tried to do my best attempt at imitating a red stag. But now,
what did they think of that?
some of them answered back, and some of them just didn't do anything. So, but now I feel like I've got a good sound, but it takes a bit of practice to do it. I remember I spoke to a lot of guys in the Highlands when they've done it, or maybe to stop a stag and then get a shot. A lot of them just go and they make a bit of a funny sound. That does stop them, but
Yeah, because they're like, what is going on behind me?
Yeah. when it's in the rut, they're so full of adrenaline and testosterone that they just come running in sometimes. But with this call, I think I've got a pretty good sound now.
So this is from Best Fox Calls, and it's their 3-part tube stag call.
Tube, yes.
Can we hear it?
Yeah.
Well, is it loud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand back.
We'll
just
stand back
bit.
a little bit.
Yeah, it is loud. But
I think I heard hooves. Did you hear hooves? I think they're coming running.
Yeah. If you get the goosebumps on your back, then that's it. You got it right. But
and
it takes a bit of practice, because a lot of people they basically shout into the tube, but you need to use your muscles from your stomach to get that deep
belly roll.
Yeah. So
maybe you need to release a training video.
Yeah, I know. I need to do it.
Yeah.
So I will do one for next rut, so people can practice. But it is very effective. I remember taking clients out and I said, I'm going to try and call a stag now, and they're looking at me a bit funny, and they say, is this a joke? I'm like, no, I can do it sometimes. But it's an amazing experience to have one coming into the call, especially the big one that was shot last year, which is the biggest of the season we had at Strahanna Stalking. That I heard the stag roaring at least 400 meters away up on the hillside, and we were inside the forest, and I was with the client, and then I said to him, I'm going to try and call him in. There's no way we can get up to him because he's in the forest as well. And I just got the guy ready on the sticks, and I called, and the stag answered back, and then we just started talking, and then he went quiet for a long time, and I just said to the client, get ready, because I think he might be on his way now. And it went quiet for a long time, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and that felt really long. And then I said, right, I'm going to call one more time. And I did it, and then the stag just came crashing through the trees 20 meters away, and he came right in front of us at 17 meters, and then he just stopped and bang. And he
just like that.
He dropped on the spot, and
it's exciting. I mean, calling. I've not done a lot of calling stags, but a lot of calling roe deer, and that's super exciting. It doesn't get much better.
That's what really started me calling was roe deer. That was roe deer and foxes was how I begun, and then now
I can see somebody escaping from the Best Fox Call stand because I don't think he wants to be caught on radio.
Yeah, maybe.
But no, that's great. I think what we're going to do, we're going to slide through here and we're going to try and grab Rob Crampton before somebody starts speaking. But look, great to speak to you. How you doing, Rob?
I'm very well.
You're good?
Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys.
So, we're at the Best Fox Call stand, Best Deer Call stand on this side. Tell us a little bit about how you all started, because there was no Best Fox Calls and then suddenly, boom, you were everywhere.
It kind of all started 2011. I think it was 2011, and I bought the domain name Best Fox Call. Prior to that, I've been in marketing and building websites. And I bought the domain name Best Fox Call because I was just wanted to sell one particular call online for a guy who at that time had no online sales at all. So it was almost a pocket money idea, a bit of beer money if you like. I then contacted some guys in Australia about the Tenterfield style whistle, and the cost to actually get some calls from Australia to the UK and then get them out there on the market it was just too much money. People wouldn't pay that much money for a piece of bent metal, so we developed our own. That very quickly, that would have been probably upwards early 2012, and I remember going to the last British shooting show at Newark and bumping into Robert Bucknell and James Marchington. Got the product in their hands. I bumped into the Team Wild guys there as well and sort of introduced myself, and everybody was like, hang on, who's this Best Fox Call guy? And it's kind of gone from there. We then we then found the Icotec range of products, which are electronic remote callers. Started importing those from the States in 2013. They've been massively successful. And then obviously recently we've teamed up with Joe and started Best Deer Call to sort of mirror the same ethics of if we don't use it, we don't sell it. And just sourcing decent products that work. And I think you've already spoken to Brent.
Yep, he was demonstrating that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
can we have a quick? You've got 3 calls. Your 3 main calls around your neck there. Can we have tell us what each one is and then use it so people listening can hear?
Okay. I'll apologise in advance because the first one might be quite loud, but the 3 calls we have, one is a Tenterfield style whistle, which is essentially a bent piece of metal, a bit the same technique as a shepherd's whistle. But it creates a real raspy sound. It's very loud. It carries a long way over open countryside. So it's almost the sort of first call you'd use.
And
just to see
what does that
around.
retail at? That?
This one retails at $13.99 online. But we do a deal at game fairs where the calls are all £10 each or 3 for $25. So.
And maybe if they mention the podcast to you, maybe they can get a deal.
Absolutely. If they come and mention the Pace Brothers, I'm sure we'll look after them, of course.
There we have it. There's a good offer.
From the man himself.
Absolutely. But make it fairly quick because obviously there's not much of the show left. But I'll honour that for shows over the year. If you come and mention the Pace Brothers, I will do you a good deal.
There we have it. There's a good deal.
That's 2 we've had today.
Yes,
it
is.
Oh, good work.
Yeah.
So yeah, what we call the SS, it's a stainless steel caller. It sounds a bit like this. I'm going to blow it away. For a long time we wondered what this was. And I came home one day and heard this noise coming from my back garden and thought, there's somebody in my back garden blowing one of my callers. So, needless to say, went to investigate, found my 2 terriers playing tug of war with a rabbit in the garden. And we think rabbits squeal when they're in pain, which they do, but actually when they're being killed, they scream, and that's the noise they make. So I think the reason that works so well is because it's a sort of sense of urgency. Fox is a predator if it feels there's another predator actually killing something.
Opportunity for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Opportunity for a steal.
Yeah.
Steal for a meal. So that's that call. The other call we do is what we call the original, because it was the very first call.
I use it quite a lot.
Yeah, this call. It's great. I think probably most people who currently shoot foxes have probably got one of these calls. It's a little black reed call. It's a bit like the old technique of having a blade of grass between your thumbs, and sounds, which is the sort of more traditional sort of pained rabbit, rodent type squeal. Then finally we have a little call that Robert Bucknell introduced me to. It's an odd looking little thing, looks like a small cricket bat with 2 holes in it. It's called a Foul Harbour Hazel Grouse Hen Call.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that is a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, so we just call it the Foul Harbour.
Yep.
Foul Harbour, an Austrian company, more known really for their deer calls. But this little call produces a really pitchy, squeaky rodent type. And we find it really effective on stubble or cut silage where you've had machinery over ground and you've got rats and mice that are either chopped up or injured. If you get foxes mousing, calling them with a squeal sometimes just does not work. They won't even listen to it because it's not what they're expecting to find. So just a few little peeps. And we've called foxes. It's a really quiet call. We've called foxes from 300 or 400 yards with this call. Obviously on relatively quiet nights, but yeah, great little call.
No, that's brilliant. So if people want to check you out, where do they find you?
They can find us online predominantly at www.bestfoxcall.co.uk. Under the Contact Us link, there is a UK 2016 Game Fairs.
Where are you going to be?
I'm going to have to look. Do you want the whole list?
Oh, you've got a list.
I've got a list on my laminate.
Well, you're everywhere by the look of that.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple that are questionable, but after the British Shooting Show, we'll be at Kelmarsh, which is the Easter weekend. We'll be at the East Anglian Game Fair, which obviously which over in Norwich at the showground. We'll be at the Northern Shooting Show in Harrogate in May. We'll do Highclere, which is Newbury area. That's also in May. We'll then be probably at the Welsh Game Fair in June. you guys know there's quite a few CLA game fairs this year.
Yes.
But
We've been speaking to a couple
Yeah,
of
we
them.
have, yeah.
hot off the press, I have just signed a contract and I will be at the UK Game Fair here at Stoneleigh.
We just spoke to them. So, okay, brilliant.
Yeah. I'm probably going to be at Ragley the following weekend as well. We will be at the Midland.
Life on the road for you.
Absolutely. and actually, one of my favourite shows, and we did first time last year that I will be at, will be Scone. So
It's awesome, right down the road from us.
That's our.
So we will no doubt see you there.
We will see you again, definitely at Scone.
Absolutely. So,
Well, thank you very much for your time.
no problem
Okay,
at all.
thank you.
Good to speak
Catch
to
you
you.
there. We're over speaking to Jens from Hornady, and Hornady released a really exciting bullet this year. I'm not going to say anything about it, Jens. Just tell us what the story is from start to finish with this new bullet that you've released.
Try to make it brief. It's a long story behind it, but Hornady made a real exciting development in the bullet technology, since they found out that typical plastic tips of bullets melt in flight if you shoot high BC bullets on longer ranges. And they developed a new tip called the heat shield tip, which eliminates that problem. And while they done that for a match bullet, they thought it would make sense to develop a hunting bullet around that new technology. And they did it with the ELDX, and it's the first real all-range hunting bullet on the market. It's a bullet you can use on short range, on big game, on small game, but it has terminal performance on long range like no other bullet on the market. So it changes the way you think about hunting on longer ranges. It allows you to ethically hunt on longer ranges than ever before.
I mean, that has always been the problem if you're involved in longer range shooting, is getting a bullet to have the correct terminal performance at those lower velocities. But you've solved that problem here.
Yeah, definitely. That bullet is made for that. I mean, some people used match-style bullets for hunting on longer range and had pretty okay results with it in some configurations, but of course sometimes it happens that you have to shoot on closer ranges and then the bullet could fail because they break up, or other bullets perform very good on short ranges but not performing on long ranges, and the ELDX combines everything. Is that it's an all-range hunting bullet. It's great on long range, but you can also greatly use it on shorter range and regular ranges.
And just finally, because it was the thing I found most curious when I was reading about it, is how you actually discovered that you had an issue with the traditional plastic tip material.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing started with the match bullet we designed for long-range shooting, and they switched from traditional measuring the BCs with several chronographs to Doppler radar. The Doppler radar allows you to read the speed of the bullet every feet almost. So you got readings all the way down the trajectory. In the old days, they did a chronograph, 3, 4, 5 chronographs at different distances, and then the rest was calculated. But when they shot on the range, the engineers of Hornady found out the results they see with the chronographs that determine the BC value of the bullet doesn't match to what they see on the target, so there must be something in between. So they bought that very expensive Doppler radar to test it, and they found out that the bullet changes shape in flight because the tips get warm or hot, it melts, it increases the meat plate and gets a lower BC. And this is why you have the deviations. And this is something which is important to solve, and they found a new material that withstands the temperature and solves that problem. They patented, and as I said, they built a match bullet, the ELD match, and a hunting bullet, the ELD hunting around it, the ELDX around it.
No, it's a very exciting development, and I'm very much looking forward to testing it. But thank you very much for your time, Jens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
So we're over on the Swarovski stand, and I'm going to have a chat to Neil about products that for 2016, stuff that came out at the back end of last year. What are you going to show us first?
Okay, so the I suppose the newest product in the Swarovski range is our X5 rifle scope. It was launched last year. It's designed for long-range shooting, mainly sort of target orientated. It's our first sort of dip in the water where that's concerned. But we have seen a little bit of interest from guys that like to mountain hunt, some stalkers in Scotland, things like that. It just enables people to sort of accurately dial in using MOA, and we've managed to get quite a lot of adjustment in the scope, but still maintain a 30mm tube, so it mounts nice and low and it's fairly lightweight. Obviously our other ranges still continue. The Z6 is still running, the Z4, and our rangefinder binoculars, you know, we've had a real cracking take-up last year of those. They're still going strong, and yeah, hopefully this year in March we'll be releasing something new.
You can't tell us what it is
You're not
yet.
going to tell
I
us?
can't, no.
But there's a big launch, so March, big launch.
Yeah, we've got the IWA show in Nuremberg, and I believe the launch will take place there.
So we need anybody wanting to know what that is. You need to keep an eye on all the feeds from IWA.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
Your laser rangefinders, I think pretty much all of my friends who have laser rangefinders have a pair of Swarovskis.
Yeah, they're very, very good. I think from a hunting perspective, they've kept things relatively simple. So they're very light, they're very compact for a range-finding binocular. They've got an inclination system in, so if you're shooting in steep areas, they will allow for that. It works incredibly well with our ballistic turret system. So you're not having to fiddle around with lots of buttons. You can set it up very easily. You can switch it between meters and yards. And for me, what's most important is it's been designed as a binocular first and foremost. So the light transmission is bang on. It works perfectly through both sides of the binocular. Having the rangefinder in is not a detriment, and you can use it or not use it depending on whether you need it.
My one friend, he's the head keeper up at Glenfiddich Estate, and he recently just bought himself a pair, and he doesn't know how he survived without a pair of range-finding binoculars before.
It is easy to get hooked, I must say. I've always held over, and I've always preferred to use sort of more basic kit. And slowly but surely, you end up with all the bells and whistles.
Now, I'm looking behind you here, and I'm seeing a telescope that I saw someone talking about just recently, in the last couple of weeks. Can you talk us through that? Or is this it here as well? Is it this one I was looking at?
Yeah, that's one of our traditional draw scopes. So we've had that.
Oh, I tell you what put me off is it's got the neoprene cover on it. That's why I didn't recognise it.
This is what we call our STR80. So again, along with the launch of the X5, going into that sort of long-range market, they produced a spotting scope which actually has a projected illuminated reticle, so which you can have in MRAD or MOA. Cracking for spotting, for adjusting for windage and elevation. It goes obviously alongside the turrets on the X5. The bonus of it really is that you can switch that illuminated reticule off.
So it becomes a normal spotting.
Most are etched. So if you don't want it, if you want to use it for photography purposes, for maybe surveillance, anything like that, you don't have the reticule, you can switch it off, get rid of it, and then put it back on. And I was talking to a guy earlier on the stand, actually, he's considering one, and I said these days with Swarovski have been very, very good with what we call digiscoping. So attachments that will fit over the eyepiece that you can attach cameras or iPhones and things like that to actually record video or photograph at very, very high magnifications. It does sometimes have a downside, it's very difficult to get used to doing it, but certainly from long-range shooting perspective now, you can Wi-Fi footage to an iPad. So I put a picture in a guy's head, imagine you're lying down on a shooting range, looking at 1,000-yard gongs or something like that. You can have that up there, you can have a wind meter, Kestrel on the top, Bluetoothing to your iPad, all of your wind data. You can have the reticule zeroed on the target, giving you video feed onto your iPad. You can shoot, stop, rewind, slow motion, watch your shot fall, read it against the reticule, and then make your MOA adjustments.
That's some pretty fancy stuff.
So,
pretty
from
nifty.
a perspective of teaching or showing people things, it's amazing the feedback you get when you can literally stand there with an iPad or something similar, press pause and show them where their shot went 1,000 yards downrange. It really, as a teaching method, it's phenomenal. Really, really good. And stuff like bits of kit like this enable you to do that. So.
No, that's really cool. Now, finally, compact binoculars. Now, I've got one friend who's a stalker on a estate just beside us, and he swears, they're very, very old now, but he's got a very compact pair of Swarovski binoculars because he's mainly a hill stalker. So he doesn't need the big light transmission of a big pair like you would have for maybe row stalking. And he basically sticks them in his top pocket. What do you have now? What's the sort of latest compact you have?
I still use an old 8x30 SLC. It's always good to have a compact pair of binoculars. I don't think you would want them instead of, but certainly, you guys will know from certainly the trailer footage I've seen that quite often you can end up in places where every single ounce of weight counts. So,
yeah, definitely.
We
know we know the pain.
So we've got sort of three options really. At the very, very top end, we do an EL, which most people will be familiar with. It's our sort of class-leading binocular, and we do it in a 32. It's very, very compact, but at the same time, the sort of technology that goes into the EL, really, you can use it in all instances. You know, the 42 will maybe get you a little bit later, but they are still incredibly good in low light. That comes at a price. In the sort of really compact range, we do two binoculars, a pocket and what we call a companion. So the companion, I think, for stalking would probably be the best. It's an 830 or a 1030 binocular, sort of the predecessor that took over from the 830 SLC, really, which, yeah, a lot of guys use. Again, like you said, you lose a little bit of low light performance, but it makes up for it in weight, and they're small enough they can fit in your pocket.
Great. A lot of cool kit here. I'm going to come back and take some pictures and stuff later, but thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Pleasure, guys. Enjoy
Cheers.
the rest of the show.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks very much. So we're over at a stand now with two safari outfitters from Africa, Chris Deploy and Outpost Hunting.
We've seen their really nice trailer on the big screen.
Really
at the
swanky
British
trailer.
Yeah.
So look, if I just start with you, Chris, why have you come all the way over to the UK? I mean, this is obviously a big event, but you know, there's not that many outfitters here.
Yeah, there's. I think we're 4 outfitters altogether. I would say the opportunity. I've been to England before. I was after school. I came to work here. I saw the opportunity, especially in bird hunting, and I went to Frank and I told him, listen, let's do it. Let's see what we can do. I think there's a lot of potential.
And sorry, whereabouts are you based? Are you South Africa?
Yes, Limpopo, South Africa.
Okay, Limpopo. That hence all the bird shooting.
There you go. There you go.
So what kind of shooting do people come to you for in Limpopo?
Well, big 5 plains game bird hunting, basically. And while we're doing South Africa and Namibia, we give the best of both in one. So we can do a combined package, all of that. And they only have to come to this exhibition to get both.
Right. And Frank, whereabouts in Namibia are you?
We're from the Kalahari, very beautiful area, more sandy dune areas. It's from Windhoek, from the central area, southeast, against the Botswana border. So it's a special place.
You got to go to Namibia.
Well, I know, but I've never been down that end because normally when I go, I fly into Windhoek and then we're going north up to the Caprivi.
You go to Caprivi, okay. My parents have a place not too far from the Caprivi, so. I know that area.
But you're the other end. And in terms of hunting species, what can people expect if they want to come and hunt in your neck of the woods?
The Kalahari is mostly famous for the oryx, the springbuck, big duikers, big steenbucks as well, and red hartebeest. That's mostly the big trophies are in the Kalahari for those type of animals. So.
And Chris, a lot of people think, you know, sorry, I've been distracted here.
I
see biltong and Drivos on your table.
Are you bribing people with biltong?
I'm going to have some of that after. But a lot of people think, you know, African hunting is expensive. You know, I won't be able to afford it. Can you tell people how affordable it is? I mean, I know because I go all the time, and I've got a couple of mates who are outfitters out there. And if you compare it to, like, say, European hunting and trophy prices in Europe, you think, wow, you know, I can get all of that in Africa. Okay, you got to get there, but it's really good value for money.
Sure is. Ibex in Spain will cost you €4,000. If you come to South Africa, you can do a 5-package hunt, 5-day hunt for the same amount. So you've got 5 animals instead of 1, 5 days in Africa. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it?
And Africa gets under your skin.
Yeah, it does.
There you go.
Beautiful accommodation, nice weather.
Beautiful.
Once you've been there, always going to go back.
It's hard, once, twice a year. I think I'd almost live there if I could.
And it doesn't help that all our family live there. So we're going back, we're like, I don't go enough. Byron, you go all the time.
I know, but it is good. Okay, no, that's really great. Well, hopefully, so we can put your details on our podcast page, but for people listening who can't be bothered looking at the details underneath it, where can they find you, Chris?
Chris Deploy Safaris, www.chrisdeploysafaris.co.za.
And that's PLOOY. And Frank, what about you?
This is Outpost Safaris, outpostsafaris.com, the webpage, or betapostsafaris.com.
And either of you guys on Facebook?
Yes, Cross Deployed Safaris.
Yeah, also Beta Pass Safaris. That's on Facebook as well. Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks very much for your time, guys.
Thanks very much.
Big pleasure. Thank you.
We're over now at pretty much certainly the only clothing manufacturer that's here that's made in the UK, which is the Fortis clothing stand, Fortis Peak
And
Performance.
if you see the pictures of us at the British Shooting Show, you'll see the big "Made in the UK" on our arms.
On our sleeves.
I'm pointing as if someone can see, but on our arms.
In fact, the T-shirts that we've been wearing here were printed by
Fortis.
So anyway, Oliver's here. How are you doing, Oliver?
Oh, I'm good, and you?
Very good. Has it been a good show for you guys?
Oh, excellent. I think actually maybe the best British shooting show we've ever attended, and we've been going for a number of years now. So in terms of feedback and people coming in, it's been great. Yeah.
Now, for people who are thinking, I've never heard of Fortis before, quite a lot have heard of Country Covers. Just explain that connection.
Okay, so Country Covers is where we've come from. The reason why we aren't Country Covers...
Hang on. Hold on a second.
This afternoon,
Loud announcer.
starting very shortly. Ralph Peck is
Very inconsiderate. Right when we were trying to do an interview.
It's very inconsiderate.
Get over to Hall 2 and have a look at Ralph.
Okay, right.
Let's try this again.
He's done. Right, so carry on. Country Covers Fortis.
Yeah, so Country Covers, it was where we came from. It was our seat covers, our wheel covers, and our endurance clothing. It is something that we, obviously don't forget. We still got the name up in Country Covers because a lot of people still remember us through what we did and sold to everyone. But Fortis is our rebrand, and that's because it depicts what we do. So Country Covers doesn't depict what we do. We are an endurance clothing brand, and we're taking it global, and people are noticing us in Norway, Sweden, and obviously Scotland and England being the two markets where we do all the shows, and we do a couple in Wales as well, and we've tried Ireland, and we're doing Ireland this year. But the brand is pushing more just doing our civilian outdoor clothing, so for anyone that's hiking, rambling and shooting, and anyone that's in the outdoors.
Now, we've actually tried a lot of your kit.
Yeah, well, we're very fortunate enough that anyone who listens to the podcast will know that Fortis are one of our sponsors. So we've been using your kit, obviously, extensively for the last couple of months.
In some of the most horrendous conditions that I think I've ever been in my life.
Can you tell people how the garments are made and the kind of materials that you use? Because I found that fascinating when we were talking 3 days ago when we first got together.
And we will talk about your Falklands jacket in a minute.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the materials itself. So we're a ripstop design. So the design of ripstop is that its abrasion levels are great. So if you're going through those brambles, you're going through all the crap that the gamekeepers and the farmers and the guys that really have a lifestyle outside. That it's not just a job to them. It's actually their lifestyle. It's just how they spend their life doing is the outdoors. So the ripstop is designed to take on that front, so that blackthorn that we do come across, and it's a 50% mixture, and that's polyester and cotton. So that's a strong mix which you wouldn't find anywhere else made because of the cost it takes to actually make that and merge that together, and that's all done here in the UK. And then it's actually in a place called in Ireland called Dinsmore, and they do it all for us. They also colour dye everything, and then we buy it in the rolls and bring it down with the waterproof, and then there's a drop liner. So you have the outer protecting that drop liner. So if you rip that outer, you're still going to be waterproof because that drop liner is beneath, and that beneath the drop liner will then have that support of that outer. Now we then cut them all together in bundles. Our cutter will put them together, and then we'll have a bundle and give it to our sewing team, and they'll sew it together.
And your garments, for the most part, they can certainly be completely customized.
Yeah, which is quite incredible, really, for a clothing manufacturer.
It's definitely a good salesman. Like when we speak to people are everyone's different. So everyone's a different size. So some people got the long arms, some people got the
short legs like me.
Like us, we've got the short legs. But it's. You don't choose the way you're built. Everyone's different in size wise. So we offer that bespoke design where you can do whatever you like with your smock. You can if you're a 27-inch inside leg, we can do that. We can put a pocket there if you need that. But for example, there's a guy in Scotland that we make coats for him and jumpers and everything we've made for him. He has one pocket in particular, and that's for his insulin injection if he has a cardiac arrest or he's about to, because he's a diabetic. Now he has that pocket in exactly the same place, and if he's out summer shooting and he only has his trousers and a t-shirt on, he has it in his trousers and everything. So we do things that other manufacturers or other clothing companies can't, because we make it here.
That's pretty unique to have a
awesome.
pocket for your insulin shot.
Yeah, exactly. So that adrenaline kind of that shot will save his life. So doing something as important as just doing a little pocket that other companies may not have to, because they have to roll with 5,000 of one item because it's made in China, which we don't.
Now, Falcon Jacket, you mentioned that at the start. It's a really cool story that you told us just the other day about where it got its name.
And it's fairly new, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Falklands, it's new to civilian world and what we're doing for the civilians. So the drop-down seat pad inside it, which you can totally remove, the poacher's pocket inside. But it's not new in terms of where it's come from. So the Falklands Police is where it's come from. We called it the Falklands after them. We are doing the members in the Falklands Police, and they wear it out right now at the moment, and they wear it in our orange, which is not a normal orange, which you'll probably see in the company orange trousers.
That's one thing we actually forgot to mention. The variations of camo and different colours that you have is immense.
That's an awesome thing for us, actually, because the camos are actually a lot of them are issue. So we got Swedish military, you got the Canadian military, you got all sorts of militaries. You've got Netherlands over there, but we can also get other camos. So you've got these other companies in America making these different types of camos.
Digital camos.
The digitals. We can get hold of rolls like that, and we can make things for you. We get a guy from, he's called Senor Nori, and he lives in Sweden. And every year he will send us a different camouflage to make a new smocking. Every single year, and he does it, and it can be in any material he likes, and he just sends it over to us, and we make it in the style he asks. But that's what we do. We want to provide something personalised with a backup service. So if you rip it, we're there. If you have a waterproof problem, we're there.
And you can pick up the phone and actually speak to you.
Yeah, exactly. And and we speak English, so we're gonna help, and we are there to help, and hopefully people will take on board that we want to provide a garment that's going to last and be there to kind of support you through your lifestyle of the outdoors.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you very much for taking time to speak to us, Oliver.
Pleasure.
So we're over at the Ely stand, and we're speaking to Andy Norris. Andy, I know from speaking to you a couple of days ago, there's some exciting new releases from Ely coming out this year. There's some stuff that came out back end of last year. What's in store for everybody who's into shotgun shooting?
We've had 2 years of growth, natural growth within the UK market, rebuilding on our quality, on our tradition, and everything else that Ely stands for. We released 4 brand new products this year for both clay and game, and we've got some new special cartridges coming in the pipeline for the coming season, some of which will just be a follow-on natural progression from the Zenith range going into the small gauges, and then we'll be looking at other larger gauges which we're still keeping under wraps until we can get it done. But we will be the only UK manufacturer making a product of this spec and standard.
And your steel shot, I started using that a couple of years ago. What's in your steel shot range now?
We are offering a 2 3/4 inch steel in 3-shot and 5-shot, which has been proven to be more successful each year. And we're also doing our 3-inch range of the lightning steel for those that are using semi-autos or even over and unders with 3-inch chambers that just demand maximum performance for those wildfowl, normally those who are shooting north of the border. And the performance of the 3-inch is far greater than anything else we believe on the market, and the patterns and performance will just prove better than anything else that anyone has ever bought.
Alpha Max has been a strong Ely model, if you want to call it that, for a very long time. How is that doing? Does it just continue going from strength to strength?
Alpha Max fell off for some time, and the reason being was if you think Alpha Max was used mainly by keepers for fox cubs and for foxing, which has now been mainly replaced by rifles. Keepers now use a lot more rimfire and centerfire rifles than ever used to. However, there are certain times that you can't use a rimfire or certainly a centerfire. This is where Alpha Max has gained popularity again, especially north of the border. So if you're going to your part of the world, our sales of Alpha Max are far greater than in the south. However, saying that, in Devon, Cornwall area, the Alpha Max and the Magnum loads are still in high demand.
That's interesting, because I hadn't noticed there. Maybe that's because of where I live. Whenever I look around, when we're on Fox drives or whatever, every man and his dog is using Alpha Max. So maybe that's why I kind of never noticed it. What you were talking about, maybe it dipping off a bit.
Well, what areas now actually do have Fox drives still? So many keepers and so many estates no longer have Fox drives. They simply go lamping in the evening.
Yeah.
But Fox driving was one of those periods after the season, before the season, that you would clear up and reduce the amount of fox cubs and young foxes. It's now coming back, especially with certain advertising that we've done, and also it's having a bit of a resurgence. People are seeing that you can still get certain foxes that might be a lamp shy, you can still get them on a drive.
Well, no, you are absolutely right, because some of the big estates around us, they are lamping. They've got all the latest kit. They're doing everything that you can do to control the fox populations, but they are still driving foxes, and they're pretty much all using Ely Alpha Max.
Well, it's gone full circle, hasn't it? It's gone from using Alpha Max to using rimfire, to using centerfire, to using night vision, and now thermal imaging, and it's going full circle. Now there's again this resurgence into going back and having
back
a
to
drive.
basics.
Yeah, and having Fox drives again, which is getting people back out into the countryside, giving beaters something else to do on the estate, which they're encouraged to do, to get involved in not just the day of beating, but also the rook shooting and the vermin control, which is now encouraging people again to drive foxes.
I mean, it's all good fun and all part of the management and the process. I wasn't sure. Okay, no worries.
You've got quite an impressive stand at the British Ink Show. How have you found the show so far? Because this is the last day.
The show has been very successful for us. It was last year, and this year again. We've had so many customers, both new and old. We've had people coming that have been shooting our cartridges since the 1960s and 50s, and then we've got younger people of your own generation coming up saying, we really like this new stuff. This new Zenith is we've been on shoots and it's phenomenal. And we just say, we worked hard on this. We haven't just dreamt it up and changed the package. The actual product has been developed in our labs and then finalised by using on shooters. And the feedback has been great.
That's the second
time this has happened.
That's all right. We'll just wait for a second.
Well, the people listening can get the atmosphere of the show through the speaker, find out what's going on.
Live events going on like we were looking at earlier.
Yeah.
In fact, we'll in 7 minutes we need to go and do this live draw thing, but we'll wrap up with Andy once the man finishes speaking, which he has done now. So the show has been a good success, I think, is where we were concluding.
A great success. We've had people from all disciplines. We've launched the new DTL trap cartridge, the DTL Gold. So that has stirred up quite a lot of interest. We've then had people coming back giving us reports on the game season that they've had with our Zenith, all being positive reports. People like yourself talking about the vermin control and the foxes and what we've got coming in the future. It's been very exciting for us, and the enthusiasm coming back from both our dealer network and from our consumer has all been so positive. It's given the team here a real boost, that all the efforts we've put in over the last 2 years.
You're seeing it.
We're really seeing it. We've changed the whole team from the top down, and we are starting to see the benefits now in the UK.
And just lastly, for anyone who wants to come and check out the stuff later on in the year at the other game fairs, where are you going to be?
We are going to be at the UK Game Fair. We are sponsoring the shooting line there. We're running the shooting line with EJ Churchill. We're sponsoring that. We'll also have a stand at the Game Fair. We'll have experts on hand to answer any of your questions. And if anyone's got any questions at all, no matter how ridiculous it might seem, please come and see us.
That's brilliant. Thanks very much for your time, Andy.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Andy. So we've just rushed over to the Night Vision UK stand because we're just about to witness a prize draw of a really awesome prize, and we're here with Pete from Night Vision UK. Pete, I didn't realize quite what a big prize this is. Just give me a rundown of what the person that we are about to draw in the next few minutes is about to win.
Okay, a guy called James Brewer, a friend of ours in New Hampshire, has decided to put on a hunt. So the lucky winner is going to go through to USA. The dates will be confirmed through with James. You get the flights included through from Heathrow, the return back, your food, your accommodation, your ammunition, guns supplied while you're there. More importantly and critically, safety training, everything else. But it's going to be a chance. I think it's 5 days.
I wish I had entered.
Yeah,
I obviously don't need to pay
prize.
more attention on social media.
We made it available purely through to Envy UK members. We've asked Tim Weston from the National Gamekeepers Association organisation, to come and help us out and witness it. Yourself, obviously,
And ourselves, of
your
course.
gorgeous, handsome selves, travelling down all this way to see us, to come and help us verify that what we're doing is pucker, real, and no names hidden up sleeves, etc., etc. So it's been a great event. James has actually sent me the names through. We're going to do it as a number draw. There are 170 that have actually entered with this, so we'll do the draw through, obviously, from numbers 1 through to 170. We're going to use an app, and while we're doing this as a podcast, we have actually got Connor that's from AC Arms and AC Guns, Ray Hales, who's brought us here over this weekend. He's actually videoing this with the iPad at the moment, and we'll try and get that obviously on Facebook as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So we've got as many people here as we can to invigilate it if you wish.
That's great. We've just seen the 170 name list, and we've seen the app being used. And it's basically just a random number generator is what it is.
So if we start a new draw and we put it to numbers, and we're going to put in the range as being from 1 through to 170. Tim, can you verify that that's the case?
Absolutely, 1 to 170, starting from 1, finishing at 170.
So if you want to press the OK.
This is the exciting bit now.
Pressed.
Yeah, so it's asking you yes.
Right,
let Tim
hold it
now.
Here we go. It's very exciting for the person that's the way to win this.
Absolutely.
Number 87.
87.
87. Everybody
So-
sees that?
87's the
Yep,
winner.
so now
we
we
still
need-
don't know who that is
yeah.
because we need to look through
Well,
the list now,
well,
don't
I've got a list of names on my phone now, so I can actually tell you who number 87 is.
Let's find out. Let's find out who it is.
So if we go through to Messenger, and we go through to, not that one, but James. So what was the number?
87.
We need a number 87 ticket. Number...
Oh, hang on. I've just seen it.
87.
There it is. Oh, no, sorry. That's...
That is 87.
That person bought 87, 88 and 89. So number 87, the name that's on here is Finley Newman, and then it's / Dan Halfrodo, Halford Tickets. So Finley Newman / Dan Halfrodo, Halford Tickets. He bought tickets 87, 88 and 89. So that's the winner of the trip. Congratulations, whoever you are, and thank you everybody that's here to actually.
Wow, what a trip!
What a trip! I am just a little bit jealous.
Yep.
That's
Next time we're going to get in on that.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to become a member and enter these fantastic competitions.
Thank you very much.
Pete, we just want to catch you just for a minute to tell people what Night Vision UK is all about, how they can find it, how
obviously
they can be part
you
of it.
are probably one of the largest groups on Facebook.
Yeah, we started off just myself and Eddie. There is history at the back of it. We don't need to go into that. 2 people sharing ideas from other forums and things that way, chatting and discussing ideas. We very quickly started to have an active member group, and we've now become, as far as I'm aware, the largest active Facebook or group of its kind within Europe. We've got now just over 10,500 members.
And growing every day. We see
and
it.
still growing constantly. We have, with regards to the recent Facebook issues where groups have been shut down, tried to also create a safe environment within our website. So at 3wsmvuk.co.uk, we've recently launched a forum within the website.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
Is that, and that's solely due, well, not solely due, but that's because before you could obviously sell on Facebook, and now they're basically saying we'll shut you down if you sell anything.
For many reasons, really. It gives a safe environment as well, where maybe more control. You're not going to lose the website unless something critical happens. Within Facebook, you're using their permissions. That's fine. What we don't do is we don't read the small print when we join social networks and medias. So we do fall foul of things eventually. So we have got the page that's on Facebook that we can do things through. But it's not just sales. It says that you can't offer services. Now, everybody that's in the group that helps each other out potentially is offering a service. So it stops many, many things potentially.
Yeah.
So we try to create the forum as being a safe place that the members hopefully will transfer over to, maybe new people as well. We hope that the group doesn't vanish, obviously, because it's the members that makes it what it is as well, not just myself and Eddie.
Yep.
Hopefully we go forward from here. A list of events at different shows to come through the rest of this year. Last year I was supported by Sachs as well, so Jules, Stoddart and Alex, David,
which of course this podcast is supported by.
Yeah, absolutely. So they were fabulous last year. I had an event up at Drummond Castle with them. Fabulous. And hopefully we carry on from where we are for doing what we try to do, which is make an affordable option for people, an entry level maybe in, but also take it up to custom builds at higher levels and higher qualities. That's what we're about, really.
Yeah, I know we were having a look at some of your night vision equipment this last couple of days when we've been walking around, and it's great to see, and it's great to see something that
some very unique stuff.
Yeah, very unique stuff, and like you say, at an affordable level where people can enter into it.
Definitely. So, have you guys enjoyed the show while you've been here?
We have. I don't actually know where the 3 days.
I know it's disappeared.
It's incredible. I mean, we arrived Thursday evening, and it seems to take forever to get set up. The intrepidation of the nerves always kicks in. I mean, I run a health and safety training and consultants company, so on a daily basis, I'm used to talking to people on a regular basis. You still get the butterflies. You don't know where your audience is going to be.
Yep.
You think you're well prepared, but it
your
still catches
stand is always. We can't get
We've
to you.
We've been trying to catch you for a podcast, but there's been too many people every time we come past.
But I suppose that the two things, the pros and the cons. I love telling people about what we do. That can sometimes obviously stop what maybe we've come for. I'd like to sell a few kits.
Yeah, that's been great. But thanks
thank
much
you very
for
much.
taking the time, Pete. And
thank you for your time,
congratulations
boys.
again to number 87 because that is a great prize.
Fantastic. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
catch you there.
Gentlemen. Lovely.
We're just over at the Accuracy International stand, and we've got Alice here from Accuracy International. For those people who recognise the name but don't know the history, where did it come from, and how did it get from becoming in existence to supplying the British military with sniper rifles?
Well, Accuracy International started in 1978 with Malcolm Cooper and Dave Walls and Dave Kaig, and they designed a military rifle from the ground up, which was put into service in 1985 as the L96A1. And that was retired in 2008, which was replaced in the 338 Lapua Magnum, which is the L115A3.
And in terms of new releases this year, do you have new stock configurations, new action configurations? What can we look forward to into 2016?
2014, we launched our AX series and AT series, which has replaced our previous AW series, which was Arctic Warfare. And it's just a more modern configuration of rifle, so it's modular and has the inline night vision capability, rails, Picatinny, for the future of modernisation of sniper rifles.
It's a very, very sexy looking rifle, I have to admit.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I wish I could remember this properly, but I think this rifle does actually hold quite a few world records, or world records that have been broken by longest sniper kills.
It does. A British sniper in 2009, I believe, shot 2 Taliban and a machine gun at 2,475 metres with our AW338, which is the L115.
Incredible distance.
just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And moving away from that side to the civilian side, I mean, it is a very, very tactical looking rifle, but the civilian market, there seems to be an increasing number of people with them.
That's correct. We only make the rifles as a military and police application, but as a Section 1 bolt-action rifle, it is able to be purchased by civilians if they want one.
And what sort of money are you talking at if you're looking for an Accuracy International?
The AT line is our baseline of rifles, starting around the £3,000 mark, and the AX line, which is in 308, 300 Win Mag, 338 Lapua, they are about the £5,000 mark, and then the 50 caliber is about the £7,000 mark.
Now, am I right in saying that you can actually buy your stocks for other actions?
That's correct. We do a chassis system, so it's an aluminium V-block bedding system, chassis with a detachable magazine. For Remington 700 and clone actions, we will be putting into production later one for a Tikka T3 action and a Savage 10 series.
Okay, so that pretty much covers the basis of what the vast majority most people have a Remy 700, but there's a lot of people with Tikkas who want to replace the stock. So that's and you mentioned your magazines. I think your magazine systems are probably universally used across more custom rifles than probably any other magazine system. What's been the success of that, do you think?
The magazine was designed for the L96 as a very easily maintainable one-piece system, and it's the same design that's used to this day, just increased for capacity on the 338. It's now a 10-round magazine, but the design is a good design, and it's sold to many other manufacturers of rifles and also custom gun builders with bottom metals.
It's brilliant, and your stand looks really great, and the rifles look even better. So thanks very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. We've just wandered through over to the Blaser Sporting stand, and we're going to be speaking to Robert about the new F16 just in a minute. But I've managed to catch Marouin from Sauer, and he's standing beside the Sauer 404. We were shooting together back in Denmark, and I shot a shed load around. You just told me before we came on here that the journalist shot 30,000 rounds in like
30,000 rounds in 1 weekend, yeah? Roundabout, yeah?
So it was a lot of sore shoulders, but the Sauer 404, brand new rifle for Sauer last year, very unique, got a lot of cool features. Can you just talk us through it for those people who haven't seen it?
Yeah, the Sauer 404 is a great gun. It's a mixture between good old stuff and also some totally new, unique things. You can start, you have always called SUS tool, a small tool integrated in the front stock with you for demounting the gun whenever you need it, whatever you would like to do.
Any adjustment can be done from that one tool?
Any adjustment. You can demount the whole gun with only one tool. With the same tool, you also adjust the weight of the trigger. That's also something very unique. You have 4 different positions. So we start with, I'm more familiar with that kind of system, 550 grams, 750, 1050, finally 1250. So it depends, so for your needs as a hunter, you would like to use a light trigger, set it on number 1. You would like to use a more heavy one on a driven hunt, number 4, that's 1250. You also can adjust the trigger at itself, and that's for me one of the really, really unique points of that
Very
gun.
cool, actually.
Yeah. Because every one of us, we have different fingers, different hands, and the most, or the typical failure by shooting is to leave a gap between your shooting finger and the stock. That's the anatomic of your hand. If you then put pressure on the gun or on the trigger, you put pressure on the shooting finger and on the thumb at the same time. So the art of shooting is always to take all the movement away from the gun. With that trigger, you can adjust it 8 millimeters to the front, to the back, and also the angle of 5 degrees to the left and to the right. So this is a gun out of the box, but you can adjust it for your own needs. You can change the barrels, you can change the head of the bolt, that it fits to the caliber, so that gun offers you nearly everything you need.
And it breaks down, and it's great for traveling as well because you can take the barrel off.
I can tell you what, I always have the big problem. I travel a lot with a lot of guns, and that gun we are offering a compact case, a very, very small case where you can put in the gun. You never would mention that there is a gun inside. Normally people think you have your violin or something like that next to you. That is something that is really cool.
And just finally, the mounting system on it. It's got a quick release mounting system on it. How does that work?
That's our own mount, and while we introduce our own mount, the most important thing is that mount, the unique selling proposition of that mount is it's the lowest one. And also we would like to give the people, we call that huntability, so that people have real benefit from using our products. And if you mount a scope very low on a gun, that means the gap between the barrel at itself, so the center of the barrel, and the reticle is smaller. So if you then shot on very short distances or on very long, you are more precise.
No, it's a great rifle to use because I've fired definitely more rounds through that than any other test rifle I have, just because we were in Denmark. But it's a great rifle to look at.
Oh, thank you very much.
You guys have done a good job. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
So we've just managed to collar Robert from Blaser Sporting, and we're standing beside the F16, which you had the most impressive launch for on the Friday.
I don't think anyone has ever seen a launch in this country like what you did.
We just thought let's have just a little bit of fun and just make it big.
For the people listening, there was flame involved
and smoke
and smoke.
Yes, there was a lot of noise, but I think the product was so exciting, and everybody worked so hard at the factory of giving us this launch. A little bit. The launches like that usually go to IWA in Nuremberg, and getting it to the British Shooting Show was such a big deal, because it's like launching a product like that is putting a fully tanked plane on the runway, and just before you're letting go, you tell the pilots, right boys, we've just shortened the runway by a third just to make it a bit more fun for you. The guys obviously had to run to a shortened test schedule, and then obviously export licenses are involved. It was a big deal, and thanks to everyone at the factory to actually make that happen for us. So also it was just launching this in a big way was a big relief for us, and also a nod to the factory and saying thank you.
And for those people who are not familiar with your range, Blasers, I think probably a lot of the people who listen to this know of the Blaser rifle, which is just such a leading front in rifles. Not everybody is aware of Blaser and shotguns. Where does the F16 fit?
Well, we've got the F3, which has made quite an inroad. It is our premium product, so it's known to a more specialist market. Real high-level clay shooters usually tend to go for the F3.
I shot it in Denmark. It's very, very nice.
Yes, it's a great shotgun, but it's it's more complex. It's got an inline striker system. It's got huge amounts of modularity. The F16 is a much more focused product. There's only two options available. It's focused at the sporting clay and the game market, hence two options. The game version, which the easy recognizable thing is that the F16 in silver gray is the game version, and when you've got an F16 in red on the side, that's the sporter. The game version comes in 28 and 30-inch versions with a silver brass bead, and the sporter comes in 30 and 32-inch options with some other options in terms of balancing involved. But the F16 is a much more no-nonsense, flat-rib sporter with no modularity involved.
It's a very, very sleek-looking gun just from start to finish.
And you made a man go very white when you gave one away at the unveiling of it.
Yeah, we thought. Again, in the names, let's just have fun. And it turned out yet again we drew a left-handed shooter out of the hat. My luck, third one this year that I draw out of the hat. It's a left-handed shooter. We haven't got one of these coming in anytime too soon, but they are in the making. The left-handed options will be available, but the first left-hander into the country is his. Yes,
that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And retail price, what can you pick these up for in the shops?
The Sporter in its basic version will come in at 2,780. The game, which doesn't have the balancing options in, is 2,550 retail.
So it's moved Blaser shotguns into a very, very affordable part of the market.
Two-prong. With Blaser, it's not so much the price, it's can we deliver the product in a sensible quality. Where Blaser have really pushed the boat out is how it's an extremely shallow action. The design is very bold and very minimalistic, but yet very elegant. It's the shallowest 12 gauge that I'm aware of in the market at the moment. It's built on a more conventional hammer system. The F3 is an inline striker system. The action there is already quite shallow, and they went one further with this one, delivering a conventional striker system with a very, very shallow action. Yes.
It looks great, and thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
So we thought we were almost done, but I noticed that finally Mark was free on the RUAG stand, and you've got Bergara rifles here, Mark, that I was lucky enough to review actually when you first brought in the switch barrel one, and then when you first brought in the B14.
Yes.
Just tell us a little bit about them, where they've come from, because a lot of people still haven't heard of Bergara as a brand.
Bergara are famous for aftermarket barrels. They used to make them for other manufacturers, and then one day someone at the factory said, why don't we make our own barrel? They're known for their accuracy and their quality. They came out with a few designs, and one of the ones is the B14. The B14 initially has been launched with a floor plate, but the latest ones we've got here at the show are the detachable box magazine version. They are going to be readily available in the shops as of, I think, about the end of March. We got these in early. They were supposed to be launched at the IWA show in Germany, but we got these in early.
You've snuck in early.
Yeah, we snuck in early. The only 3 we have in the country are here on the wall. There is a green Sporter model. It's a green plastic stock. It's more of an ambidextrous stock, just so that we've got something for those left-handers, although there's not a left-handed bolt, but at least they can use one. The most popular one is the black synthetic, and then we also have the walnut version. All of these are available in all the calibers that they do at the moment. There are more calibers coming online, but they refuse to tell us what they are going to be until we actually get to IWA. I think there's going to be a 243, we've got the 308, 270, all the major ones that we sell in this country are already available. Unfortunately, at the moment, not 223. A little bit of an issue with the fact that they have to get a license because they're made in Spain and it's a military caliber. That will follow on, but it will probably be later on in the year. But at the moment, every other caliber is available. They're all threaded, ready for a sound moderator with a 14 by 1 thread. And if you looked at the prices, if this was actually on camera, you would see
incredible
the prices are phenomenal.
Well, when I was very lucky enough to review this straight after SHOT Show when they first came out. Phil sent me one over, and it was the original version with the floor plate. And at that point, I didn't know what the price was, and so I reviewed the rifle. And then right at the end, I phoned up the office to find out what the retail was, and it was sort of, excuse me?
Yeah, thought they
because, well, yeah, exactly, because my guess was, and I kind of, normally I have an idea what a rifle costs when I'm reviewing it, but this I had no idea because they'd only just been brought in, and my guess was it's probably going to be about £1,000 rifle. That's what it felt like to me, and the price is £660.
We saw this as a drawing probably about 5 years ago. I was sat in a hotel in London with the guys, and they said, yeah, this is going to be our rifle, this is what we plan to do with it. And at the time, they told me what the price was going to be, and I laughed. I said, I think you've made a mistake. And they said, no, that's what it's going to be. And sure enough, here it is. I mean, you're looking at a synthetic model with a recommended retail price, the detachable box magazine, £660. And for a little bolt action rifle that's as good as this one is, that's a phenomenal price.
Bergara make very, very good barrels, and this particular bolt, I mean, there's nothing fancy about it. It's a 2-lug design, but I tell you what, it's one of the slickest on the market.
Yeah, we've had great reviews from all the magazines that we've sent it out to. I don't know if the word got around, but they've oversubscribed to the sales because when they showed this at the SHOT Show in January of last year, they got such a response. They were overwhelmed with orders. They sold more at the SHOT Show than they'd planned to make in the whole year.
Just at that one show?
Just at that one show, in the few days that the show was on, and it took them a little while to recover for the first orders, but after that it's been flooding through. It's very good.
No, it is a great rifle for the money. I said that when I first reviewed it, and this green model that we were looking at with the kind of soft touch finish on it, which is, you said, the only one in the country with the new detachable magazine.
That's the one I would have.
Yeah, it's a very good looking rifle, although not a lot else has changed. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that.
Well, a couple of months you can have one.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for taking the time,
Thank
Mark.
you.
Much appreciated. Well, those final noises are the final moments of the British Shooting Show.
Yeah, that's it. Done
Everybody's
for
backing up.
2016.
We've been here for 3 days. It kind of feels like one.
And we tried to go around as many people as we could, and we ran out of time. That was it.
We've missed loads of people out, which is really unfortunate. We were obviously on our film was playing on the Vortex stand, and we didn't even have a chance to speak to the guys who's the stand we were on.
Didn't even get to speak to them because they were flat out all day.
Flat out. Edgar Brothers. I don't think we had a chance to speak to
No,
Edgar Brothers,
no.
but I did go and have a look at their, the new guns and the CZs and the Zolis and stuff. So we Browning and Winchester.
Yep.
Didn't have a chance to go see them, although I did see them myself, but we didn't have a chance to go and record with them.
No, it's been an absolutely great experience, isn't it?
It has. Well, what a tremendous show.
And thank you for everyone that's come up and said hello to us, because there's been loads of people that have been listening to the podcast that have come up and said, listen to the show or watched our our series and that, and it's been great, the amount of people that have
Yeah,
been...
no, we really appreciate that, and it's just really it's nice to meet people.
Yeah, it is. No, absolutely.
So I think that is us done. We now have probably an 8-hour drive home, which none of us are looking forward to.
No, exactly.
We'll get back up to snowy Scotland.
Yeah, apparently it's been snowing.
And we'll catch up with the rugby scores as well.
Yes, we will. But no, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You can download it on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and you can watch it on YouTube. On this one, it's going to be mainly pictures for this one, just because we've been so busy, but there'll be good pictures, so don't worry. And leave us a review on iTunes. Yeah, which some of you have. Some of you have been leaving reviews, and we will be doing a competition at some point with the people that left the reviews. And incidentally, one of the young guys that won the last competition, I saw him today, and he was picking up his stuff from the Fortis stand.
Yeah, so we're going to get him to send us a picture of him with using it, and then we're going to put that up on our Facebook page.
Yep. No, definitely. But
yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for listening. And if you're tuning in for the first time and you haven't listened to any of our other podcasts, I recommend you first go back and check the one we did 2 weeks ago, which was with Josh James, because he's a very cool guy and a big name on YouTube. And if you haven't listened before, then you won't know that this podcast is supported by the Scottish Association for Country Sports, who make it possible for us to bring you these podcasts every 2 weeks. So once again, thank you to them for letting us make this happen.
Thank you. Till next time.